If you've ever found yourself counting down the hours till USA Canada, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. The day is finally here. We are going to get that game tonight, and I am super stoked. But before we get to that hockey match with our brothers to the north, brothers and sisters to the north, we've got another day of market action here. We've got some news to pour over. Did Palantir finally crack? Did Walmart finally crack? I know a lot of us have kind of been waiting for maybe a market pullback and some shorts. Is this the start of it? We'll take a look at all of that. We'll take a look at the news. We'll get you set up for the day. We've got movers, of course, as always. No guests today. There's going to be a lot of charts. Get your list ready. Let's roll. Good morning, folks, and welcome back. Happy Thursday, February 20th. I hope you folks are all ready for the market today because it should be a fun one. A quick look around the board here. Futures under some pressure here this morning. S&P futures down 0.25%. Dow down just over 0.25%, minus 0.27%. And NASDAQ down 0.2. So definitely some pressure here this morning. We have some earnings here this morning. We had earnings last night. We have news that is affecting Palantir, one of the darlings. And we still are waiting NVIDIA earnings next week. So a lot of stuff going on here. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about all of that stuff. Let me go ahead and welcome everybody back here. Paul, good morning, man. Welcome back. Good to see you. Sun-Kissed Yogi, welcome back. Good to see you as well. Hellcat, welcome back. Couch Potato, locked in, ready to go. Shadowed One, welcome back. 3D in the house, welcome back. Good morning. Harris, welcome back. Bernhard, welcome back. Sebastian, happy Valuna Day. I told you Palantir short, Ryan, yesterday. Yo, Sebastian, that is, you know what? You're going to start off with the first register ring of the day because that was a money call. I did not see that coming. I did not have Palantir for a short. Was thinking about maybe scalping that, but was getting ready. Had some stuff to do in the afternoon, so I ended up not playing that. But we're going to talk quite a bit about that here today. Ed, good morning. Let's get it. Absolutely, day trader locked in. Day trader, love the fact that you are posting trade ideas and charts. I'm trying to retweet those. Let's get a discussion going. Again, this just kind of leads back to the philosophy that I have where the more eyeballs and the more analysis on trade ideas and charts, the better it is for everyone. We're going to do that here on the show, of course, but I will try and carry that outside of the show as well. Appreciate the time that you take to make some of those tweets. Keep them coming. Matthew, good morning. Welcome back. Jonathan, welcome back. Tom, welcome back. Big Bear Hug. Let's go. Welcome back. Prudnica, welcome back. Jay Harris. Brandy, good morning. Dara Mug, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Welcome back. Scott, good morning. Bill Scott, I suppose. Good morning. Welcome back. Jose, welcome back. From our Twitter viewers, welcome back. Chris, good to see you this morning. Walmart cutting their dividend is kind of bearish, eh? It is. Market Sniper, Larry, welcome back. Do It Yourself Has, welcome back. Maverick, welcome back. And Neville, welcome back. Good morning, folks. And let's go ahead and get started here. Let me bring up the SPY chart. Let's dive right in. Like I said, we don't have a guest today, so we should be able to roll through all of the charts that you folks want to see, whether they're charts that I have a news story ready for or charts that you just want to take a look at. We should be able to do that here today. Jose, keep smiling. Good morning. Let's go. XNet, China stock with a bullish chart that has not run yet. Okay, Jose, you know what? That's the first stock. Let me add that to the bottom of my notes list here. We don't often look at XNet, so I will likely forget if I don't add that to the note sheet. Let me do that right now. But let's start here with the SPY. So yesterday we did set a new all-time high as we traded up here near the close. When we closed, we drifted lower because there were several earnings that really kind of took us lower. We also had the Palantir issue, which we're going to look into and talk about here next. But where we find ourselves today, just under those all-time highs. And like I said, a little bit of pressure here in the futures today. and as well as some other earnings. Nothing catastrophic, though. All of this feels orderly. So I know that we were a little bit weak yesterday in the pre-market. Right after the open, we really just kind of traded up. We actually took several legs up yesterday. And then we're a little bit weaker here in the pre-market. So one of the things that I had said yesterday on the show, you can actually go back and run the tape too and check that out. I was saying that, we've seen the whole buy the dip phenomenon go on for a while now. And so one of the things that you'll hear me talking about are in the previous intraday low and the previous intraday high. And I just wanted to touch on that briefly here. First of all, we're in a low volume environment. So these indices, at least being pushed around a couple of points, maybe not to a new price area, but within an existing range, it's a little bit easier to kind of move these things around as there's less participation. And I'm not surprised to see some of these areas get tested. I'm not surprised to see like the SPY, for example, move down and then all of a sudden reverse with seemingly no big catalyst to do that, right? It just kind of seems like price action, like trading action. And as a result, we're going to pay attention to important technical levels. Now, yesterday, when we were selling off, we were a little bit weak in the pre-market. When we were selling off, I was saying one of the levels that I really want to observe was yesterday's intraday low. And you'll see here that we actually did kind of test the low area. None of these are going to be perfect, but they're similar. We tested the low area right after the open, but we never showed enough weakness to really test that pull that we got in the afternoon on Tuesday. And so by the time that we got to the afternoon, and the SPY had already kind of curled and we were back near unchanged, it was pretty clear to see that there was not going to be enough selling strength on some type of large, market event. And we'll talk about the Palantir one here in a sec. So we were able to hold yesterday's intraday low. And as a result, we went higher and set a new all-time high. So let's fast forward to today. Where does that put us? Well, same type of deal. I know we're weak here in the pre-market, but if we can hold 609.5, let's call it, and maybe even 609, if we can hold that area here, I don't know that this can't kind of turn around and go green. Now, as far, or at least be around unchanged. Now, as far as the upside, especially if you look, let's take a look at a 15-minute chart here. You can see that some of these upside levels, when they get tested and then they get broken, we really don't get any type of continuation through that level. And I think that a lot of this has to do with low volume market participants that don't necessarily trust the level of the valuation that where we're at, or are just a little skittish in general. So if we zoom into today, one of the levels that I'm going to be looking at here is going to be this 613-ish level. Looks like we had a high print up here to 613.20s. But I'm going to be watching this level. If we're able to take that out, do we have one of these things where we just pop above? Anne Marie on the show the other day called it a look above and then figure out what's going on. So, or do we actually keep trading higher than that? I do think if we go higher, we're going to test 613, but really what happens at 613 after that test is going to determine what we do next year. Wouldn't even be shocked if we kind of stayed in a range here. So I just kind of wanted to cover that a little bit. I know we're all up here, or we're here near all-time highs. I know we just set a new all-time high yesterday, but we're really not seeing that continuation through yet. So I don't want to get all excited and gangbusters like we should be putting on new trades here. So we'll see. Pump up the volume or dance at your own risk, aka the safety dance. Okay. I don't do much dancing. I try not to offend you folks because I actually like you. So I try not to dance or talk about dancing very much. But you do you, Captain Obvious. If that's the case, that's what we'll do here today. Bonus points if anyone sends pictures of you guys doing the safety dance via Twitter. Okay. So that comes in with SPY. Let me catch up here real quickly on some of the chat. Excellent. Okay. Greetings from snowy Richmond, Virginia. Okay. Hustle and bustle. I actually heard that there's snow in the North Carolina foothills this morning as well. So interesting. Jonathan, good morning. The other Jonathan, good morning. White chocolate mocha. Let's go. or C Dubcell. Good morning. Elixir. Good morning. Ed, ONDS got sacked yesterday afternoon. Oh, man. You know what? I didn't have a story for this, but since we have enough time, let's talk about it. Yes, you folks all know this is one of my long-term holds, one that I've been working on for a while. And I tweeted out a couple of days ago, I maintain the price action on this stock recently has just been absolute garbage. And again, I like the stock. I like the thesis. I think that this has a really good runway. I suspect that at some point in the future, I'm going to be able to sell this for double digits, at least. And I suspect that this is going to continue to grow over the years as drones proliferate. I don't think OMDS is alone in that. However, what we find ourselves in right now, not good, less than ideal, some might say. You can see I actually had a trend line here that we snapped. We had multiple days of just like -10, -10 plus. Yesterday was -13%. We're actually below this trend line that I had going now, this support trend line. You can see here, we're actually approaching the 100-day moving average. We're only 9 cents away from that. There is, if you look at a weekly chart, we are kind of at like this weekly level that goes all the way back to January of 2023. So I suppose you could say there's a potential bounce spot in here. But here's the thing. Despite me liking this for the long term, despite me being bullish, I cannot be an apple polisher. This is bad. The price action here is bad. So I would say if you're looking to trade this, I don't know what your risk profile is or what your time horizon is. If you have a short-term time horizon, right now we are definitely bearish. And until this chart can show some type of strength, I would not necessarily bet on the bullish side of it. And I'm on the bullish side of it. I don't want to see you folks lose money. And like I said, I've been watching this stock for a long, long time. So I'm hoping that all of this waiting is gonna pay off. I think that it will. I'm still confident in it. I have not sold a share. In fact, I actually added a little bit yesterday, which I was a little bit nervous about. But that's kind of where we're at here. I totally admit I like it. I like it long term. But boy, oh boy, the action here recently has been poor. There's just no other way to say it. There's just no other way to say it. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. Maybe we get a turnaround here today. Like I said, last 2 days here have not been good. We're at this weekly support level. Let's see what happens. I am expecting more news flow out of this. One of the things that we saw earlier this week, the piece of news that we had regarding them going on. Let me actually talk about that here real quick, because I was actually following I was actually listening to one of my mentors kind of talk about this as well. Ondas launches a global demonstration tour to showcase the Iron Drone Raider system, revolutionizing counter-drone defense with AI-enabled interception. So this sounds good to me. I saw someone on X yesterday saying, hey, this might be bad, right? They don't have enough orders. And now they're going on a tour to kind of show these things. It's like, why can't they generate orders themselves? Why do they need this tour in order to generate more contracts and more orders? And that's a fair point. The flip side of the coin there, though, is that, hey, you got a really good product and you want to show it off. And that's kind of the camp that I fit in. Now, the fact that this stock responded to that piece of news with a -10% day, again, no bueno. There's no way to kind of shine that up. Yeah, I've watched this stock go from 9 to 50 cents and then come back. So what we're going through here, temporary, but I think at least. But we'll see here. Again, we do have some support areas here. We're at weekly support right now. 100 days at 134. We'll see if we get a bounce. Just be careful on this. Just because I like it does not necessarily mean it's going to go gangbusters here in the near future. This has been a long, long road that eventually should have a payoff at the end. But glad that you brought it up. All right, next here. This is probably the big story of the day, and I want to know what you folks think about this. I especially want to know if you folks are trading this name here today and how you're actually trading it. Palantir. Okay, we've got a couple of things going on here, so let's break it down like a fraction. Palantir plunges 5% after hours as Alex Karp plans 1.23 billion stock sale. Kramer then urged Palantirs, which is what he called them, for support amid the defense cuts. Okay. By the way, the insider transactions for about the last year are sales, not purchases. And again, look, we have talked about this on a regular basis. This going on a huge run here. We have said if you have long positions, you're probably smart trimming into the move up here. Maybe not selling all of it, but at minimum trimming, especially if you like the company long term. And then on the flip side of that, we've also discussed, hey, we would love for this stock to come back in so we can actually buy it and hold it for long term instead of buying it at a forward PE of 180 or 200 or whatever it is. So, okay, so let's look inside here and let's see what's going on. So we're going to rewind to yesterday first. Okay, so yesterday we had news here, and actually I think okay, awesome. Producer got my link out there, so let's go to the story. I'll flip back between the story and the chart here. So yesterday we had Pete Hegseth, the new defense secretary, reportedly ordered the Pentagon and leaders to prepare plans for an 8% annual budget cuts over the next 5 years. The current defense budget stands at approximately $850 billion. Now, a couple of things here. Number one, Trump has talked about rebuilding the military with some of the depleted reserves, whether they be weapons, tanks, missiles, etc. And here you have the new defense secretary saying we're looking for budget cuts from the Pentagon. So it's very, very clear that the goal here is for this to become more streamlined and more efficient. Now, does that mean removing bloated government contracts? Yeah, that's probably a primary target of this, and Palantir immediately responded to that. The sell-off intensified. The story goes on here. The sell-off intensified following Palantir's disclosure to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission that CEO Karp adopted a new rule and trading plan, allowing him to sell up to 9.98 million shares by September 12th, potentially worth $1.23 billion. So he's got the ability to sell more. He's got a ton of shares, and that obviously could bring the price back down. The plan replaces a previous larger selling arrangement. So there you go. Factor that into your calculus too. Jim Cramer attempted to rally support, asking the retail folks to buy. Support the stock right now. Let me ask you a question here real quick. I love that the producers already got the poll out. Running a poll on Palantir. Are you bullish, bearish, not sure? Get those votes in. Definitely get those votes in. You know, I kind of want to ask as a side question here. Make sure you vote in the poll, but I kind of want to ask a side question here. Is the fact that Cramer came out in defense of it, is that bullish? Is that bullish, bearish, or no change? What does that mean for you, for your calculus? Look, as someone that likes Palantir, as someone that has a good long-term view on Palantir, defense, national defense, I welcome this sell-off, frankly. Let this come into levels. We'll identify some of those levels from a longer-term chart. We can add, even if it goes lower, we can continue to dollar cost average into a longer-term trade like that. So this doesn't necessarily bother me. As I've been saying for a while now, I've kind of thought that the market really does need a pullback and a reset. And hey, if it's going to be some of the Momo names that are going to go from Momo to no-no, then that's going to be the first step in this whole thing. A couple more things I wanted to go through here real quick. The proposed defense cuts come as part of President Trump's administration's broader initiative to reduce government spending, which is something that this country desperately needs, led by newly adopted Tesla CEO Elon Musk through the Doge department. Karp, who co-founded Palantir with Peter Thiel, publicly defended Musk's appointment on Tuesday, suggesting that progressives should engage in dialogue with Musk given his qualifications. We'll see. I know that just kind of shows me that despite his company's stock getting hit, sees the longer or the larger goal there being a positive. Despite the recent stock's volatility, Palantir reported strong fourth quarter earnings with revenue reaching $828 million. And I guess the thought here is, are those earnings and revenue numbers going to be as good or eye-popping if the Pentagon goes through budget cuts, or if Doge gets their hands on anything that Palantir is connected to? So this is pretty much what's going on with Palantir. You have the administration wanting spending cuts, and on top of that, you have a new sales plan that allows Karp to sell up to $1.23 billion worth of stock. That is why the stock is down here. Now, if we go back to the actual chart, let's take a look at the stock and some levels and come up with a particular plan here. So number one, you can see we had a huge move down yesterday. We did bounce a little bit into the close, but we actually resolved lower. Now, this morning, we tried to bounce back. I think this is totally normal, but already we've rolled over. So to me, 106 here, which is a level that I guess we breached beneath it temporarily, but 106 here is going to be definitely a level that we're paying attention to. It's only 73 cents away. I think it's a guarantee that this level gets at least tested. Maybe it holds. Maybe it holds and Palantir bounces from here. Would love to hear what you guys think about that. But this 106 level that we are pretty much at, definitely important one. Palantir down almost 5% here in the pre-market. Now, if we zoom out, or I guess back out to a daily chart, you can see here that 106 level that we just talked about, yeah, that's important. That was also near the top end of this impulse candle. That went to 106.91, so a little bit higher than that. You can actually see that, boy, oh boy, if we don't hold 106, we have some more room to go down here, most notably right to this $100 level. Round $100 level acting as a magnet, can totally see that happen. We have the 20-day moving average that lines up with that pretty good. And both of those line up with the bottom of the island that actually got held here. Okay, so 106 is definitely going to be a key level, but the story's not over at 106. There's definitely another 6 points, pretty clear 6 points to the downside here that this stock could actually test here today. So let's see on Palantir. We talked about levels where we really kind of like this. I would imagine that my first ad here is going to be down around this 50-day moving average, and that is providing we can hold it. To be quite honest with you, I still really want this down near 60. And the longer and the more orderly it takes for this move down to materialize, if in fact that's what happens, the longer or the better the timing it will be as this 200-day comes up. And I would not be shocked if, as the price comes down and the 200-day comes up, if they meet somewhere around 60. If that happens, that's a definite buy zone for me, again, for a long-term position here. And then if it moved lower from there, I would assess what kind of risk I can add to this particular plan. Also worth noting, this is obviously, as it was on the way up, this was a great trade for us for options. So any of you option players out there would love to hear how you're attacking this. If we start to test 100 and that looks shaky, I would imagine you folks are playing for the 17-point gap fill to the downside that we might end up seeing here. So again, would love to get trading plans here. There's no wrong answers. Let's have the discussion about where Palantir can go. And then the larger discussion is some of these stocks that are starting to crack, some of these high-flying stocks that are starting to crack. Is this the sign of more things to come? Don't forget, we have arguably the most important earnings report, I mean, definitely of the last 12 months, but maybe even longer than that. We have NVIDIA in less than a week. We have NVIDIA Wednesday after the close next week. What is this earnings report going to show? What's going to happen here if this moves down? We saw Palantir move down pretty precipitously. What happens if the darling NVIDIA moves down? So a lot of stuff to kind of factor in here. Would love to hear from you folks on what you think there. Okay. I also really quickly, I wanted to check in, just changing gears here. We are going to get to the quantum stuff. I see a lot of you guys posting the quantum stuff in there. Awesome. There's going to be plenty of that. There's going to be plenty of that. Okay, let me check on some of the comments here. Brandy saying Palantir back to 80 at least, in my opinion. Awesome. Give it to me. That would be great. That would be great. BBAI, a good morning, Hugh. BBAI, we'll take a look at that. I'm sure that might be in play here today, although that seems to be on the backside of the move. Allzort said went short yesterday before the drop. Good day, been burnt a couple of times, so good to get the call right for a change. So I can really appreciate that, especially like, I guess the timing here for me is pretty good. After having a gangbusters December and January, been kind of a struggle the last couple of weeks for me. But what you're saying here, This is what happens in our profession. You get burnt. Sometimes you get burnt multiple times in a row. But as long as you don't wipe yourself out and you have the ability to keep firing, you have the ability to get back in the game. All sorts. It sounds like that's exactly what you did. Register ring for you. Really good stuff there. Okay. Paul saying, can't blame the guy for selling. Yeah, neither can I. Stock is massively overpriced, or at least it looks like that on a price to earnings basis. Stock's had a huge move. He's got millions, literally millions of shares. Yeah, I would sell some too. Definitely. That makes sense to me. Okay. Kramer means nothing to me. Fair enough. Brandy said it's the cuts, and I think this is regarding the cuts here. Never going to happen. Military industrial complex too strong. What Ike said. So you're actually hitting on something here that I think is a little bit bigger too. And you know what? Brandy, with all due respect, I actually hope that you're wrong in this case. I agree with you. I think the military industrial complex is extremely strong. And I think some of this stuff is going to be extremely difficult to do for the administration, whoever it is that's trying to do it. But I hope that maybe we are able to make some headway there, right? I would phrase it that way instead of hoping that you're wrong. That's not really the case. I'm hoping that the military-industrial complex cracks a little bit and we are able to make some changes. Otherwise, though, I'm in complete agreement with you on that. Kramer means nothing to me. That's going to make me smile. Zintis says, bullish or bearish this year, bullish the next 10. Okay, that would actually be awesome. I mean, taking a longer term view on that, that'd be amazing. A little bit of pain right now for 10 years of bullish gain. Yes, sign me up for that. Bobby G says the government needs efficiency. That's exactly what Palantir does. Again, long-term view here, Bobby. The meme, long-term view. Okay. You guys are not disappointing with the comments. Okay. Brandy says, I hope I am wrong too. Okay. So I think we're on the same page. We definitely understand there. Awesome. Okay. Kendall saying this is a deep fake for Palantir. It will be back above 120 after NVIDIA earnings next week. Okay, I love it. This is what makes a market. And this is exactly why I wanted to have these discussions here amongst the group. I definitely didn't want everyone to be on the same page. I wanted to get some back and forth. So absolutely great. Kendall, I love that. I love that. Good morning, Ryan. It's great to see you. Zahur saying, I think Palantir may be like Carvana, may fall from grace to back to a legit PE or price level, say 20 or 30. I think the CEO talk kept the price up. There's a lot of good stuff in this comment. First of all, I'll start with the CEO talk. Yeah, absolutely. CEO is friends with the right people. Given the administration change, he's been talking the stock. He gets retail and smaller investors all excited because he smack talks short sellers, especially about his stock. That's always going to go over well with the retail crowd. So you're exactly right here. And as far as Carvana goes, I like the comparison. Carvana actually also reporting earnings here. We'll probably take a look at that. As far as Carvana goes, it had a huge run up. You have a huge cup, a little bit of a handle formation here. So an interesting comparison nonetheless. Day Trader says, Ryan, my downside levels were 105.95. Boy, you called that one pretty good, didn't you? 106 was the key level, off by 5 cents on a $100 stock. Not too shabby, Day Trader. Seems pretty good. With the next lower levels at the golden pocket of 95.30 and 85.47. Then the 61 if it really tanked. Fingers crossed. But like I said, I don't know that any of this is going to happen. Anyway, real good stuff here from the entire group. Love this. This is exactly what I was hoping when I saw this story. This is exactly what I was hoping. You folks, of course, did not disappoint. There's going to be more of this, so stay tuned. Okay, next one here, MicroStrategy. We actually haven't taken a look at this. Let me see where Bitcoin is sitting at. Bitcoin higher here. That's sweet. Bitcoin futures here at about 97,500 this morning. MicroStrategy here. Peter Schiff is busy again talking about Bitcoin. There's no surprise here. Peter Schiff says Michael Saylor's led strategy convertible debt offerings, quote, aren't going well, end quote, as the stock falls despite Bitcoin's gain. So let's take a look at that. So the stock did fall yesterday. That's correct. That's an accurate statement. And the stock is still down from its pretty good high up here, the pretty nice high that it made at 542. So that makes it accurate too. But if we take a look here, MicroStrategy really kind of seems like it's carving out a support area, does it not? Let me know what you folks think. I mean, I look at this and I think, boy, 310, maybe 300 to 310. This looks like some pretty good support. We've tested this area a few times. We're consolidating. We're trading sideways. Look what the RSI is doing. Really starting to just hover around the midpoint. The volume, even though the volume is kind of compressing, the stock really isn't breaking down. We've really made no significant attempt to go down to the 200-day moving average, which would be what I'd want to see if the stock is going to sell off. Also, maybe fill this gap down here. Looks like we tried to do that before, didn't quite do it. So I think that MicroStrategy is currently going through, or strategy, I guess I should say, the MSTR, ticker MSTR, I feel like is just kind of going through this process where people are evaluating it and trying to price it accurately. I'm unsurprised, and look, Peter Schiff is a better investor than I am. But I'm unsurprised. He's made a history of being bearish on things like this, so I'm unsurprised to hear his take on this. Let's take a quick look at the article here. Schiff took to X to highlight the 4.5% decline in the company's shares despite Bitcoin gaining 2.5%. So, okay, relative strength there, right? Bitcoin, this company holds the largest reserve, something like 46 billion in Bitcoin. Let me get the actual figure here for you. They own 2.28% of all outstanding Bitcoin for a total of 478,000 with a value of $46.6 billion. So we're talking about humongous numbers here. And so as Bitcoin traded up, MicroStrategy, traded down, and that's what Schiff is highlighting here. Okay. And then use it to do a victory lap on Saylor. I mean, when you have it, when it's in your favor, do it, I suppose. The Michael Saylor-led firm introduced Bitcoin yield metric last year, which measures the percentage change in the number of Bitcoins it owns per share over a period of time. The Bitcoin yield was 4.14% as of this writing. So again, Saylor clearly looking at the increased Bitcoin reserves more than anything else. So, okay. As far as MicroStrategy goes, I know that this has been a popular stock for this group here before. It's kind of fallen out of favor as it's done some of this sideways trading, and some of these other stocks, like some of the quantum names, which we're going to talk about here in a sec, have really kind of gone gangbusters. So would love to hear what you folks think on MicroStrategy. Are you still into this? Would you rather trade Bitcoins and tokens themselves? Are you with Peter Schiff? Are you with Michael Saylor? Where do you fall here on MicroStrategy? As far as some of the levels here, kind of what I was mentioning, the 300 to 310, this is really the big level for me. Even if we take out the 50-day moving average, which is $1 short of 350, holding in there at 349, I really don't think I can make any kind of long-term conclusions until we do something with this 380, 340 level that we've identified previously. If we can break above that, hold above that, maybe even better, back test that level and really turn it into a firm support, then we can talk maybe about some more upside moves here. But for right now, I just kind of want to see how MicroStrategy shakes out. C-Spot saying SUI. Okay, Sebastian saying, if I want to buy Bitcoin, why should I buy MicroStrategy? So this is kind of my point here. Like, I am bullish on Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. I own a couple of other coins too. I own Ethereum. I also own SUI. I actually added to that last night, which we'll talk about. And I took this B3, one of these newer ones on Coinbase. So I'm with you on that. I would not choose my exposure to Bitcoin to be MicroStrategy. I'd rather just own the underlying asset. But not everyone can do that, and MicroStrategy might be an attractive alternate for that. What I will say here is that if I wanted to increase my Bitcoin exposure, I would not necessarily be opposed to diversifying it across some of the coins in a company like MicroStrategy, but I'm just not there yet with my risk tolerance for Bitcoin. I guess if I had just kind of thinking about portfolio allocation, I mean, I think Bitcoin is about 3% of my total portfolio, maybe a little bit more since it's gone up now. I would say that unless I had, like a massive windfall, let's say ONDS, just to take that example, let's say ONDS really starts to rocket and I start to sell some of that. Well, at that point, then I'd have more gains in the brokerage account, in the main brokerage account, and I might then consider maybe increasing some of the allocation to Bitcoin, and maybe I would look at MicroStrategy, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, Sebastian, the best answer that I have for you is not everyone can have exposure to Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy gives you another option for that. Not what I would choose, but I'm just trying to answer your question. Day Trader says, Bitcoin is my largest position overall, including stocks, and I don't buy any MicroStrategy. There you have it. Sounds like the Day Trader slightly the opposite of me, where a majority of my funds are in my brokerage account, not in my Bitcoin account. Sounds like that is the opposite here for Day Trader, and I'm unsurprised, frankly. I also wanted to ask, I see that C-Spot, it was mentioning Sol right here. When I was looking at some of the Bitcoin prices last night, I noticed that Sol, first of all, is this a buy? What you Bitcoin traders out there, what do you think about Sol? And do any of you stake this? Like, I actually stake my Ethereum and earn yield on that. You can do the same thing with Solana. So what do you folks think about that? I actually don't own any of this. I asked you guys to sell me on Ripple yesterday. Sell me on Solana today, and we'll see about adding. We'll see about adding some of those. Okay. I actually took more time on Bitcoin than I thought. Sorry about that, but man, it's just it's super fun. What can I say? Bitcoin's going to be around. Okay, let's talk about what's going on here with Microsoft and then some of the quantum names. I noticed that several of you had mentioned some of the quantum names earlier. So let's talk about that. Here's your Microsoft chart. One thing that really kind of jumps off here is, it definitely looks like this 400 support area. We're not all that far away. 414 here. We kind of came in towards this area and turned around. I wonder if we might get another test of the 400 area, but that's for the future here. Microsoft joins quantum computing battle with Majorana 1, challenging Google and NVIDIA's advances. Okay, so had some news here. Let me actually go to the chart here. This is all kind of new stuff. I'm sure that producer will get the article for you folks. Okay. I like this. Crumbs saying, if your cryptocurrency has a CEO, beware. That is interesting. You're the first person I've heard say that, and now you're making me think, and I love that. So good stuff. Good stuff. Let me think about that a little bit more. I think I know where you're coming from on that. Anyway, back to Microsoft here. Microsoft launched Majorana 1, making its quantum chip debut powered by a topological core architecture that expects to realize quantum computers capable of solving meaningful industrial scale problems in years. This seems to be the nomenclature that gets thrown around here, right? This is the whole argument with Jensen and the D-Wave CEO was, meaningful problems, practical applications. What's the time frame for that? And it seems like there's some generalities being used in that term. We're seeing it here again. The chip leverages top conductor, a material which can observe and control Majorana particles to produce more reliable and scalable qubits, which are the building blocks for quantum computers. So, okay, sounds pretty good. I have no way of kind of verifying or testing this or really kind of comparing this to what we have now. It does seem like Microsoft is making some strides here. And I think, again, on the larger picture, this is not going to be a rare thing. I actually think that you're going to see several headlines like this. We had the headline from the Google Willow chip that really kind of lit the sector. Now we're getting a headline from Microsoft. I would not be shocked to see more of these in the future. And I would also not be shocked to see other companies kind of joining this and seeing how that shakes all of this out. So definitely read through this. I'm not going to spend too much time just kind of reading this. I know sometimes the technical stuff here might be a little too much for several of you that are going to play these, but just understand what's going on. We started with this, and I also, again, I just want to reiterate. Let me go back here real quick. I just want to reiterate, we are kind of near a support level here, this 400 support level. We are kind of near that, so I'm just thinking maybe you want to trade off this level, trade against 400 as your stop, maybe 398, 370, or excuse me, 398, 397 your stop on a potential move back to all-time highs. I don't know. It really depends on if you're bullish on this market or bearish on this market. And I do think NVIDIA's earnings next week are likely going to play into this too. So a lot of calculus to figure out here, but just know where Microsoft is. Now, the next story here is regarding some of the better trading vehicles that we've seen on this quantum theme, right? We're going to start here with Rigetti. This and IONQ, I think, are the two main ones. And frankly, those have probably been the two best traders. Big outsized gains, also voluminous and I guess easier to trade than some of the other names. Anyway, Pharma Bro, Martin Scarelli slams Microsoft's quantum breakthrough, predicts IONQ and Rigetti will plummet as the tech falls behind. Again, so this really kind of gets boiled down to how close actually are we for these quantum names and for some of this quantum computing. And then what does that mean for the bottom line of the stock? Well, a couple of things here real quick to look at Rigetti. Number one, we talk a lot about trend lines here and how some of these trends jump off the page. Well, here you go. And to make matters more enticing here, we're actually gapping above this trend line. In fact, if I zoom in here, you can see it a little bit better. Look where the price is. We're actually right above that. So we recaptured the 50 here today on this 9.5% move higher on the back of the Microsoft piece of news. And we've bucked this trend line. So what does that mean? You guessed it. We definitely want to see a close above these levels, right? If we get a close above the 50, a close above the trend line, giddy up. That actually sets us up for a potential update tomorrow with the market. You'll also notice that we do have the 20-day moving average just above that here at 1251. Be interesting to see if the stock has enough strength to take that out and close above it. If that happens, I guess even more giddy up. Is that how you say it? Probably not. But you understand what I'm saying here. We actually would take out two moving averages and buck the trend that we wanted to see there. So a lot to take a look at here in Rigetti. And then one more thing to note here. You can notice that the volume on yesterday, it was compressing and we started to tick up a little bit. So the two things that I'm going to be watching here in addition to the levels are also going to be, where does the volume finish? This entire quantum back and forth is likely to create more opportunities, both on the short and the long side, for us to trade some of these smaller names. And so I want to see how Rigetti responds here. Where does it close after all the stuff that goes on here with some of the quantum names today? And we'll see what kind of, if we're in a bullish scenario or a bearish scenario. Now, the other stock that was mentioned there, and then we'll get to the article here, IONQ. You can see this one not in as great of a position as Rigetti. Couple of things to note here again, since we're on the subject of trends, we do have this trend. We want to see that remain intact, and then we also have a trend here from the top that we want to see. Let me actually just draw these lines a little bit cleaner so we don't. There we go. And I'll actually shorten this one up a little bit too. We can always extend that if needed. Anyway, this is where we're at. So IONQ here, we're going to be breaking out of this triangle at some point. Which direction do we go? That's the $64,000 question. We'll use some of these candles and these candle closes to determine that. If we zoom in a little bit more near term here, you can see we had the high of the candle from Tuesday was 36.32. The high of the candle from yesterday was 35.93. So we were about 40 cents apart, pretty much the same high there. We do have a really small gap up here to about 37.5. And then we have 2 points above that, we have the 50-day moving average. So these are some of the levels here on IONQ. We'll see if we end up breaking out or breaking down, and we'll see if these quantum plays, not just IONQ and Rigetti, but some of the other quantum plays get lit. Here's the article. I just want to make sure that I covered everything in here. Okay, so some of the other things that Martin said here, IONQ and Rigetti are both worth very low single digits versus their $33 and $10 prices today. Remember, Rigetti's higher than 10 this morning. Quantum computing is not commercially viable in any serious way. And again, this comes back to like the main crux of the argument and why we're going to have a market in these stocks, why you're going to see a lot of back and forth here. It should be great for us traders. His comments come as the Majora 1 quantum chip featuring the topological core architecture. it comes about here. There's a fairly vicious battle to disqualify Microsoft Quantum paper from publication. The word breakthrough should be used very carefully. So if you're interested in this, Martin, I know he was convicted of securities fraud. I think we actually cover that here in the article. Convicted of securities fraud in 2017, remains banned from the pharma industry. He is a bright guy, though, and he's obviously following this quantum stuff. So if you want to follow along with the trade and you want to trade these, this is probably someone, at least you should know what's going on there. And then there was a little bit more context there about Jensen and Google, which we've had previous announcements for. So would love to see what the quantum names do here today. Kind of excited. We should have no shortage of things here today. All right. Next here, we're going to talk about NVIDIA. Now, I'll go back to the chart here because as we already mentioned here today or this morning, NVIDIA reports earnings next week, Wednesday after hours. It's going to be a big one. Elliott Investment Management made several portfolio moves in the fourth quarter, closing multiple positions. This article does a really good job of summarizing the 13F filings from Elliott. But one of the things here was that they added NVIDIA put options. So it looks like Elliott at least thinks NVIDIA is going to trade to the downside here. This is notable with the earnings being next week. So I guess my only question here is, what do you folks think about this? Are you thinking, especially now after Walmart and Palantir cracked a little bit, is NVIDIA next? Might NVIDIA start cracking? Might that be one of the catalysts that really kind of drives us down to a lower range? Curious to know what you folks think about that. Looks like Elliott is taking a stake, putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak. They also bought Wolfspeed stock. That would be another thing to note there. Okay, and then let's take a look at NVIDIA just to kind of tie that all together by looking at some of the levels in the charts. Here is NVIDIA. The last time that we pulled back, we went right to the 200-day, and yep, that was a buying opportunity. There's just no way around it. I understand we traded beneath it. We recaptured it in pretty short order. We put multiple closes above it. That should firm that up as a support area. And then we went to the 141 area, which we're currently butting our head against. So I would think that this would need a gangbusters report to kind of generate the buying interest to take us to the next leg higher here. I think we've got some pretty significant resistance, and this area now is being carved out by the price action in NVIDIA going all the way back to October of last year. I got to think 141, and yes, 141, not 140, because I think you'll get some head fakes as the price crosses 140. We'll see how that pans out. 141 to 153. That $12 area in here should be some pretty significant resistance for NVIDIA. I really do think we're going to need something huge in this earnings in order to take us higher. I've put my money where my mouth is on the short side on NVIDIA a couple of times, and it hasn't gone well. So factor that in as well. But we'll see here. I'd love for this to really kind of snap the 200 and really kind of carve out a support level. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing tested 100, to be quite honest with you. Really wouldn't be shocked. But we'll see. That earnings is going to be a big one. Next week should be fun. Next week should be really, really fun here. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the levels. Oh yeah, the one thing to mention, the trend line, or excuse me, the moving averages that we've used as support here, the 100 days at 136 and the 50-day is at 134.71. So we should, if the stock is weak, we actually should find some support around those levels. Okay, next here, let's talk about Apple. Right? Big Mama, as I like to call it. Apple, one of the darlings here, and one of the safe havens for some of the tech stocks amid some of the tech wreck that we occasionally get. By the way, for any of you that aren't big tea drinkers, you're wrong. I love you, but you're wrong. Tea is amazing, and you should try it. And if you've never tried a double matcha tea, try that. Awesome in the morning. I feel like it gives me energy too, which is crazy. Anyway, Apple here, you can see we've actually been on a pretty decent run recently. Nice job getting above the 50-day, multiple closes above the 50-day. That's exactly what we want to see. We do have a little bit more resistance here at 247. And then, of course, we have that 260 all-time high that we're kind of eyeing here. Apple's iPhone 16e to drive revenue growth for Tim Cook's company, says top analyst. So let's go to the article here. I'm sure the Producer will get it here for you. Gene Munster. Once again, he is back at it. Deepwater Management's Gene Munster anticipates a revenue boost for Apple, driven by the launch of the new iPhone 16e. This was the product launch that we talked about yesterday. On Wednesday, Munster posted his insights on Apple's latest offering, iPhone 16e on X. He highlighted 3 key takeaways. Here they are. iPhone 16 lays the groundwork for upside in iPhone revenue for fiscal year 25. 3 takeaways for the new Apple. It will run the Apple Intelligence at a starting price of $599, higher than the $429 launch price of last year's phone, but still lower than the entry point of the traditional iPhone. Now, this is important because there are some emerging markets, India being one for sure, where it's just the high price of the top level iPhone is not as palatable as it is here in the States. And this now is a way for folks to get access to the AI ecosystem, the Apple Intelligence system, at a lower price point. Now, the good news for the business here is, as you can see, this level or this model of phone is actually $170 more than the previous versions of this phone. So that should be a revenue generator. That should be an increase to the bottom line. Now, it remains to be seen how much adoption we're actually going to see because of Apple Intelligence. And you folks that join us here all the time, you know, I've been literally asking you folks to sell me on Apple Intelligence. Tell me what some of the big features are that you folks use that really help you, that make your life better. And maybe I'm just being dense and can't really remember. And if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I don't think that I've got a whole lot or that is to say, I don't think that you folks out there have really been moved by Apple Intelligence. So I say all that to say it'll be interesting to see what this actually does for the adoption of the new phone, and if you're able to get more revenue there. Munster also predicts that the 16e will account for approximately 10% of Apple's revenue, surpassing the SE's current 7% contribution. So here's the napkin math that he's giving for you. Looks like a 3% increase in revenue from this model alone, which he would deem a success. So the one thing for me on this is that I am a huge proponent of the big phone. Like, I don't like the smaller iPhone. Like, I don't see the point. I use an Android, but a smaller Android. I'm a big proponent of, maybe it's because I've got big bear paw mitts of a hand. I mean, I'm 6.5 feet tall. I've got big hands. Maybe that's one of the reasons I like the bigger phone. I don't really see this angle, but the numbers are the important part to pay attention to here. So we'll see if this actually does kind of drive sales. While the anticipated introduction of Apple Intelligence in China is expected to strengthen the case for a rebound in iPhone sales, Munster had previously stated that 10% growth expectation for iPhone next year could be too aspirational. Hedging the bet there a little bit. Hustle and Bustle says Apple Intelligence is an oxymoron. Hustle and Bustle, that is an early candidate for the comment of the day. Well done. Okay, but that does it pretty much for Apple. I got through all of the news. What time is it? Oh man, that took me almost an hour to get through. I told you we had a lot of news. We haven't even really touched the earnings, but you know what? You know what we can do? Let's bring on 13 for that, because we can get some more ideas of levels and things to look at. Let's go ahead and do that here. 13, good morning, boss. How
Hello.
You doing Thursday?
I'm doing much better. I'm in the final throes of getting over that cold. You know how you have, like, after you get into a cold and you're getting out of it, you have like that, the sinus junk that's in there, and you're trying to get that out. I'm at that stage now.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm doing much better.
You sound a lot better.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Jane here. Let's talk about this here real quick. Am I the only one that hears some expert, in quotes, predict a stock going up or down, think that they're just pumping to enrich their own position?
Nope.
Pestelman says, absolutely agree, Jane Smith. What was that, 13?
I said, nope, you're not the only one. I absolutely agree.
I was going to say the same thing. No, look, these analysts, these fund managers, what do you think they're going to do? Of course they're going to talk their book. Really, it comes down to what they're saying making sense? Like, I appreciate that, just kind of using the Apple example. I appreciate that because Gene's basically saying, look, this particular model accounted for 7% of their revenue. We expect that if there's increased adoption and the increased price that Apple's told us about, we are estimating that this should be 10% of their revenue. Okay, so he's making an assessment based on something real that he's then talking about. Now, will that materialize? I don't know. Maybe people think the phone sucks and they don't buy it, and you don't get those type of revenue numbers. But at least in Gene's case right there, he's telling you why I think that this is going to happen. Now, you'll have something to benchmark, right? 12 months from now, we'll be able to see. We'll get numbers on this, and we'll be able to see if he was right or if he's wrong, and you'll be able to then make that decision going forward. So, Jane, no, you're absolutely not the only person. 13, I'm so glad to hear that you say that here, coming in hot this morning. Absolutely love it. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that completely. So no, they're talking their book. Okay. 13, I ran through a whole bunch of stuff here. We can do whatever you want. We can do, and again, I was saying we have got no guests. We are all clear for the next 36 minutes until the bell. What do you want to start with, my man?
Well, I think I know that I'm getting back to my normal self because I decided to go through some of these movers this morning, and I didn't cover a whole bunch, just a few of them, because I went into that whole thing of, oh, I got to deep dive and find out what's going on with this. And of course, that took up a whole bunch of time. So didn't really look beyond a few of these. The first one that I was looking at, though, and this is a little concerning, WOK.
Okay, let's do it.
So this doesn't have any news, but I'm starting to see more reports of a rise in various infections in China, particularly bird flu. There's also been reports of increased quarantine zones and makeshift hospitals being built. And the infections they're seeing a rise in as far as bird flu goes. You have the H5N1 virus, but also I believe it's the H9, I think, N2. But anyway, the big issue that I was kind of concerned with when I started diving into this. By the way, WOK they make PPE equipment.
Yeah, medical and industrial mask company, I believe, is what this is.
So I thought that because I just started hearing about more of these increase in infections, these quarantine zones being made in makeshift hospitals. So to see this particular stock move shortly after I started hearing about all this, I'm not surprised that PPE is starting to make a move up. Now some PPE companies like Alpha Protect, they haven't moved yet, but I would keep an eye on something like that. This particular company is a new issue. Also, they just IPO'd back in August, and they recently got hit pretty hard. So they're coming off of a bottom, but they do have 2.09 million shares in the float. Not a really good read on their financials, but I think I don't know how this one's going to trade. It might trade pretty well. It might not, but I think that the going down the rabbit hole, trying to figure out why this was moving. It was kind of alarming, especially when I was starting to find out that there's a big increase in concern among government officials about more widespread illnesses. So that's something we got to stay on top of and be vigilant about.
And I got one more thing to add for you, 13. And guess what? Jonathan from our chat is all over it. Courtesy of Benzinga Pro, you can actually use the calendar and then the IPO calendar to discern some of these dates. Jonathan saying, WOC, IPO lockup period ended today. So the insider, right here on this calendar, the insider lockup date ends 2/19/2025. That was yesterday. So, Jonathan, today is the first day that lockup period is expired. This is something else to factor in there. I'm so glad that you mentioned this. Yeah. Shout out to Benzinga Pro. We don't talk about the IPO calendar here quite a bit. We talk about IPOs. Maybe I should start I'll be better about that. I'll start folding this in a little bit more. These lockup dates can be extremely important. Jonathan, one up for you.
Yep.
For mentioning this here. You are exactly right.
And I got a shout out to Pesselman 1951. That's a great point that he makes. It's harder to catch, but the mortality rate is one of the highlights of the article that I was reading, and that's one of the concerns for these quarantine zones, these makeshift hospitals. I can try and dig into this some more to see if I can find out where they're that this is a big concern, like where these hospitals are springing up, which regions. But this is something that kind of led me down the rabbit hole and made me want to take a look into some more news about what's going on in China as far as infections go, because this is something that we've been talking about a lot in Happy Hour over the past 6 months, and it's starting to look like it could be coming to a head pretty soon. So that's what I got for WOK.
Hey, that's a really good breakdown there. This is, I believe, if I go to the movers tab, this was the top mover on the list. Yeah, so this all comes into play here today. We're definitely be trading this one. I am going to second T. Ryan Produce here. We are not falling for the bird flu. This is all well and good, and we can do some trades here, but I can tell you for certain, T. Ryan, you are not alone here. There's a majority of people feel this way. We are not going to be fooled. We are not going to be locked down because of this. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing. I know this is about masks and personal protective equipment. That's fine, but I'm saying this. Respect. Got that.
Yeah, this is not to suggest that we are going to start seeing lockdowns here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that this is same shit, different day.
Yeah, that's a really good way to summarize that. Okay. A1 says it's hard for me to take any medical stuff out of China for real.
Right.
Fair enough. Look, fair enough. I'm not going to criticize anybody for that at all. What we will do here, though, and that's the other thing, 13 is just clarifying he doesn't think that there's going to be lockdowns here. Right. We're going to talk about the different levers that are moving some of these stocks around. That's not necessarily an endorsement or a rebuff of what's going to happen here. We're telling you this is why the stock is moving. These are some things to look for. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. Strong says they will never lock us down again. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay.
We are spicy this morning, aren't we?
We are spicy this morning, but it's a Thursday, and this morning is going to be the light part. We're going to be really spicy later today when USA Canada drops the puck here. I know in fact, I don't know how many of our Canadian friends are with us here this morning. You folks will have to let me know. I was told yesterday by Paul Bissonnette that there will be, quote, a national emergency in Canada, end quote, if they lose to the U.S. here tonight. You folks will have to tell me about that. Okay, 13, back to brass tacks here. Do you want to do more movers? Do you want to take a look at some of the earnings? What do you want to do? Should I flip over to the movers and run the list down?
I could go over one mover that's a little further down the list that had earnings.
Wait, say that. What was that?
A mover that's a little bit further down the list that had earnings, since you mentioned earnings.
Let's do it. What we got?
That's Herbalife, HLF.
All right.
Oh, is this one you wanted to cover?
Well, this is actually one that was part of the, if we go to the homepage here, you can see that this is actually one of the stocks that was selected here today, but I mistyped the ticker, and so it's not showing up. So sorry about that. I typed HFL earlier this morning and butchered that. So I'm extremely thrilled that you actually want to cover it here today. I'll start by giving you some cursory stats, and I'll have you break it down with your analysis here. Really quickly, Herbalife shares trading higher if the company reported Q4 EPS and revenue above estimates. Stock's up 27.6%. Again, that quick look around the horn here with the short interest, 19.74% with a 7.87 days to cover. Definitely has some squeeze potential in there. And then this has a 79.5 million share float. And we're just about 500,000 shares here in the pre-market. So 13, what do you think here on Herbalife?
So in addition to their earnings, they also appointed a new chief executive officer. His name's Stephen Graziani. And that's another bullet point. But when I was starting to look into their financials, I noticed that they have quite a bit of debt. It makes their balance sheet look pretty bad. But it seems like they're managing it pretty well. However, the concern for me is that in less than 12 months, they're going to have to do something about 325 million of that debt that's going to be due. So that would be the concern I have. Other than that, this company seems to be on the right track for the time being. And I have I've had acquaintances or friends and acquaintances that I see, from time to time trying to, help push the Herbalife lifestyle. So, I know that it's semi-popular, it's out there, but that balance sheet, I believe, is why you were seeing such high short interest, because they're essentially illiquid. The debt outweighs their assets. So I think that's the reason for that. But now that we have some good earnings, I think we're starting to, like you said, with the short interest, we're seeing that squeeze. So that's what we're getting today. Don't know where this ends up, but we can identify levels once we get through some of these other movers, if you like.
Okay. I'm going to highlight something here from the producer. Shout out to the documentary Betting on Zero on Bill Ackman and his crusade against Herbalife. That was a great watch. I actually didn't watch that. Maybe I should. Maybe I should go back and check that out. Interesting. Okay. You got anything else? What do you want to do next?
The only other one I covered was BRTX. This is, I don't even write the name down, Biorestive Therapies. This is with regard to their BRTX 100 program for chronic lumbar disc disease. And they received, they recently announced some preliminary phase 2 data, and they got a FDA fast track designation as a result of it. This company has 5.64 million shares in the float. I don't think I'd looked too much in their. Oh no, you know what? I did look in their financials. They seem like they're pretty good. I even think they put out a PR highlighting how well their financials are right now, and that they're good to go. It doesn't seem like they're at any need of having to raise capital right now, based on the amount of cash they burn and how much they have on the balance sheet. I think they're going to be just fine for now. They have it's more in short-term investment that they can draw cash from, but for now it looks like they're okay. So I don't think that there's going to be any risk of them making an offering anytime soon. Not to say that I don't want to say never, but it doesn't seem like that's in the plan right now.
Okay. Good stuff there. BRTX. You probably covered the short interest here, but I actually missed it because I was reading the chat. It's 4% of the float shorted, 2.71 days to cover. Yeah. So there, but negligible.
Yeah.
For the most part. Float's right in the butter zone that we want. Okay, cool.
So that's all I was really looking at with the time I had, because like I said, went down the rabbit hole this morning.
That's quite all right. Mentioned a couple of other things here. Looks like XOS. This gapped up here after the close. They announced a XOS hub and general sales administration schedule. I guess that went well. I didn't look into this anymore, but stock is up 30% here. The way that I would trade this is basically just the technicals. So I guess we'll see if this can hold 3 3/4. Looks like it was trying to find some support there at 4. XOS, this is not one that I've really traded before. Electric mobility company designs and develops fully electric battery mobility systems specifically for commercial fleets. So it seems like a battery EV type play here. But this one is gapping up 30% here today. Let's see. VNet. Real quickly here. Crimp Biscuit, Fairchild, Jay, Tom, Mike. Good morning. Great of you folks to join us. And actually, we'll take a look at some of these stocks here. Love that you guys are coming in with stocks. Okay, real quick here. VNet. I don't think we had anything on this one. Nope. Didn't have any news on this. This is also up 20%. Bob X, that's the levered BABA ETF. That's moving higher here. GDS, I didn't see anything on this one. LAES, we had news on Tuesday. I guess this is kind of moving with the quantum theme that we had from Microsoft. That did you read into that processor, by the way? Did you have any?
I don't think I read a whole lot into it.
Okay.
But I do remember reading some of it about it's called Majorna, I believe.
Yeah, Majorana.
Majorana. Yeah. So this is I've said this before about how there's two separate camps of we're far away out from quantum, and there's other camps are saying we're closer than you think.
I had 2 stories about it this morning, in fact.
Yep, and
I'm already warmed up, baby.
Microsoft's in that camp of sooner than you think. So
and Pharma Bro is saying no, and that's gonna that's gonna affect some of these stocks.
I think you might have a much better time trading if you just never listen to him.
He's like I said earlier, he's a bright guy. I know he's gone to jail for securities fraud, but we'll see. What's that?
That's the best reason to not listen to him.
Well, there you go. I am going to share it nonetheless. Hey, and it looks like Quantum is with us. All right, Quantum.
All right.
This is all about
We're talking
you.
about you.
I was going to say this is all about you. Okay, couple of things here that I really quickly wanted to cover here. Strong Island. I promise, man. I promise. I am not ignoring you. I did mention some of the economic events earlier, but I'll re-mention them now. So Strong Island here is saying Goolsby at 935. He normally is very bullish, so keep an eye on that event. That might affect the market here. I think that's a pretty good heads up. But all of the economic events today, initial jobless claims coming at 8:30. We already got those. Actually, I can go back and give you that print. Goolsby, like Strong Island was saying here, 935. Musalam at 12:05 and Barr at 2:30. So we have some Fed talking heads here today. Initial jobless claims were 219,000 versus the 215,000 estimate. Prior read was 214 there, so pretty much right in line. Jobless claims 1869,000 versus 1870. So again, very, very light there, but pretty much in line. S&P futures here look like they're still down about 0.2. So really, maybe there's been a little back and forth in there, but no significant change on that data print. Okay. Fairchild, the most punchable face ever.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I didn't want to have to put that out there, but yes, it absolutely is.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that here. All right. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm actually going to move this. Oh, and I just broke something there. Let me refresh. I want to move this chart tool over because I use this more often, and I want to set my flow up there. Okay, let me refresh and fix this. All right. And then I also wanted to, let me go back here. Jay coming in and dropping some nuggets here for us. So FTAI. So good Lord, we've talked about this one a lot. FTAI here, 148. 148. So this was the short report. This was the another huge winner. Lion Atlas, I'm expecting you to have a really great day on this. Want to know when you're going to close this here. Maybe you did close it before earnings. You'll have to remind me. I can't remember. Shares are trading higher if the company determined that allegations from the recent short seller report were without merit and said it expects to file its 10K on time. Jay, you had mentioned here, did you guys cover yet? I don't think anyone here was short on that trade. I think everyone here was long off the short report.
No. I mean, talk about it. I think is what he's talking about. Like cover it.
I see. Okay, it wasn't shorts covering up, us covering it. No, I didn't get a chance. We're doing it right now. Big time winner for everyone that played that here. Thank you, 13. I definitely misread that now that I'm looking at it. Jay, also with some other stuff here, mentioning a firm. And this, you're actually, we talked a little bit about,
But before, can I stop you real quick before
Sure.
we get into a firm? Because one thing we should make a point out of knowing before we move on from FTAI is that filing is going to be by the closing of NASDAQ on Wednesday, February 26th. They're going to have a conference call on the 27th in the morning. So those are the 2 dates to watch for with regard to the filing of the 10K.
Okay. As far as a firm goes here, we talked a little bit. I think the title of the show here is the bubble popping because the Palantir bubble looks like it's temporarily popped at least. What other Momo names might get hit? Firm down yesterday, bouncing back here today. Shares are trading higher if the company announced it became an exclusive pay over time provider for Shop Pay installments in the US and Canada, which plans to enter the UK market. So we're getting some more positive news here. That did reverse it. Jay, my larger question here is, do we think some of the juice is out of the Momo names, or are we still just in the straight up buy the dip mentality? Are we still in the buy the dip mentality for some of these Momo names? A pretty good example of that, obviously, we talked about Palantir. We kind of hinted at NVIDIA next week here. Okay.
I don't know if you caught some of the news I was seeing about how Singapore accounts for a significant portion of NVIDIA's sales, but only 1% of the chips actually make it to Singapore because a lot of companies, especially Chinese companies, are using Singapore as their headquarters or their billing address, and then they still end up in China. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be watching to see what how the NVIDIA reacts to some of the findings, because Singapore and U.S. governments are working together to investigate this, because Singapore doesn't want to be on the wrong side of U.S.'s export controls. So I think that bears worth watching what happens out of that, especially with a lot of money coming out of Singapore going into NVIDIA, even though that their chips are not, only 1% of the chips ordered are only making it to Singapore. So I thought that was interesting, something to keep an eye on.
Okay. Good stuff there. Good insight there. All right, we're going to take a look at Walmart here real quick. First of all, Lion here saying, Ryan, GL was the best trade for me in 2024, and FTAI is going to be the best trade in 2025. I believe you said earlier that FTAI is so far. I know we're only at the end of February here, but you were saying how this is your best trade of the year. I'll tell you what, these short report trades, these have been money makers for our group. Really have been money makers for our group. It's not just these two. It's not just GL and FTAI, although those are probably the biggest ones. The FTAI one is still going here.
Oh yeah, dip buyers love it.
Yeah, Jay, regarding what you were just saying there, Jay also mentioning Singapore market at all-time highs right now. Okay. The other thing that we were talking, and then here regarding the Momo. So Jay, this is exactly what I was hoping that you were going to say. This is the camp that I'm in. I felt like you were in the same camp. Thank you for confirming. Momo, I'd say be very careful. I think the easy money is over in some of the Momo names. I would agree. And I think that we're going to get a little bit more clarity on that when we get NVIDIA's earnings next Wednesday evening. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Not only that, but we get SMCI supposed to be filing all their late reports and supposed to be coming into NASDAQ compliance again. So two big events, one on top of the other, to watch for next week.
Yep. And then thinking about it here, mentioning Grab, which also reported earnings, just because we're on the theme here of Singapore. Everything app of Singapore and the rest of Southeast Asia, rideshare, finance, delivery, loans, etc. Here, Grab, it looks like they missed, but the report wasn't terrible, right? This is definitely not one that I follow here. Yeah, inline. Yeah, see, this was not necessarily a terrible report. Balancing conservative guidance versus long-term growth. It does seem like the market is kind of rewarding this, right? Looks like that dip is getting bought. We had a $6 price target here today on Grab. So this is an interesting one. I know that you were mentioning this earlier. I actually made money off this ticker, not a whole lot, but I made some money off this ticker. I'm out of it now, but this kind of going into the Singapore theme that we were just discussing there. Captain Cloudy saying FTAI is a massive winner, bought it at 108. Let's go.
Nice.
Let's go. Affirm shop. Yes, that we were just talking about that. That is why Affirm pop here, conditionally accepted. Trading higher after the company became the exclusive pay over time provider for shop pay installments in U.S. and Canada, and they're looking to expand into the U.K. market as well. Okay. I think we covered all of the small stocks, did we not? I don't think there was anything else on here that was really interesting.
You already talked about Walmart, right?
No. Well, no. Let's do that. That's kind of what I've been waiting for. I mean, I did a little bit because we were talking about some of these Momo names that have started to crack. We're going to start here with the daily chart here. I would say that I'm not sure that the market was really ready for the consumer weakness that Walmart reported here. You could see we actually dropped beneath the 20-day moving average here. Were we beneath the 50 earlier? Yeah, we were right at the 50. Looks like we went kind of right down towards that 50 and held it. Now in the pre-market here, it does look like we're up off the lows. I want to see what the opening print is here for Walmart. But one of the things that I discussed earlier before you got on, the larger question that I have here is and this is kind of plays into the affirmed stock that we were just trading about. Are some of these Momo names starting to crack? Right? Should we start looking for shorts, especially if these bounce and are unable to go higher? Do we start looking for some more move to the downside? Right? We saw Palantir move down. We've seen Walmart move down. We saw Affirm get hit. There were a couple of other Momo names yesterday that got hit pretty good. So are things changing? Right? Just on a kind of a larger rhetorical question here, are things changing with this? What did you want to cover here in Walmart 13?
Oh, well, didn't they just have earnings?
Yeah, sorry. I guess I should have led with that. Q4 2025 adjusted EPS 66 cents, beat the 64-cent estimate. That was Q4 of 2024, by the way. Sales 180.6 billion, beat the 180.01 billion estimate. So a beat there on the top and the bottom line, but the guidance was a little bit soft there. That was the weakening consumer. A couple quotes here. Early responses to same-day pharmacy delivery are strong. Actually, Lynn and Randy, I don't know if they're here, but they talk a lot about some of the grocery and pharmacy services that Walmart has. They speak very highly of that, so it looks like we're getting confirmation of that out of the report. Walmart CEO says all three segments of the business had, quote, a good year, and Walmart CEO says phone fee fintech business making preparations for an IPO launch in India.
Yep.
And I don't know what to make of that, but those were some other comments that we got out of the CEO there. Walmart holding here down 4.43% in the pre-market.
Yep, raised their dividend, but yeah, the big news was the softer than expected guidance. Weakening consumer. You gotta wonder if is this going to be a situation where all the debt that the American consumer has accumulated over the past several years since the pandemic, when we got stimulus and we were able to pay down our debt. Are we at a crucial point? So kind of where I'm at with that. Like, is this? Are we going to start to see some unwinding? Are we going to start to see a rise in HELOCs? We're going to. We've already been starting to see that, but is it going to exacerbate? Got a lot of things we got to pay attention to see how the U.S. consumer is performing.
And then perhaps down the road, how is that going to affect some of the buy now, pay later stocks? Right. Those might be a temporary boon. But how's that gonna get impacted down the road? Really good stuff there. Okay.
You wanted to talk some Momo.
I actually wanted. There was a comment in here and I just lost it there real quick. Affirm Fairchild saying the Affirm website is glitchy AF. Yeah, you'll have to keep reporting on that. I don't use these services. This is a general rule that I've lived by since I've learned about personal fiscal responsibility in college. If I don't have enough money to buy something, and unless I'm financing something important like a car or a house, I'm not going to take on any type of obligation to have the item now. I'll work for something, right? So I'm not a candidate for these buy now, pay laters. I believe that in the long run, this is going to protect me, but we'll see. We'll see what that actually means. Now, the other thing that I wanted to it was NBIS. Thank you, Yassine. You were asking here NBIS. This has been one that we've talked about quite a bit. It's actually I've gone from, hey, this was really cool. We made a nice little trade here. It was pretty good, to, damn it, Ryan, you really piked that thing. Why did you sell it at 25 instead of 45? But it is what it is. Now, they released earnings here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and the conference call is over. Stock is down 7% here. Initially, we popped higher, then we reversed lower, then we took another leg lower. However, we are up off the lows, and we're actually above the impulse low that we set here. Now, you've seen your question here, will this bounce, right? Is this a buy? So I think you could probably use just looking at the chart and using some technical levels that we do to trade this here today. I think this one is definitely on the radar for a potential trade here today. I wouldn't be surprised. I do kind of think that this is a buy the dip candidate. Here's my only reservation. With this being an AI play, if the Momo names do actually crack here today, I don't think that you're actually going to get the buy the dip type of performance out of this. I think that if the Momo names really get hit or don't show strength, it's going to bleed down to some of these names. That's just my 2 cents. We'll see if I'm right about that. But I would watch the rest of the market here to determine that. What do you got?
I think $39 is a very important level to watch for. If we lose that, we start closing under that over several days. We're also going to be closing underneath the 20-day SMA. I do watch it for that particular level to see whether or not we get some support, start turning around, or if we begin to break down. If we start to break down, I think you might get your answer there. You draw a line at 39, look at the past price action. That seems to be one of the most standout levels at this time.
I'm going to go ahead and draw that here. 39.05 is what I got, but bingo, you're right on there.
Yeah.
You are right on there. Toronto in one day, you were asking about ONDS. I did cover this a little bit earlier. I guess I'll go back to it real quick here. Look, I got a long-term view on this. I still feel pretty good about this, but there's just no getting around it. In the short term right now, this thing is junk. It's trading like junk. The chart looks broken. I did add a little bit to this yesterday. I don't want to for me personally, because I have a long term, I'm not trying to make quick money off of this. I'm trying to hold this until this prints double digits in the future. It was a buy here for me, but don't let my decision influence what you're doing. Assess your own risk here. If you don't follow or read this or really kind of believe in drones and all of that, this probably isn't for you. This is likely to see some more volatility. The chart here sure looks like this wants to trade down, maybe 135, 130 area. It's definitely a disappointment. It sucks to watch them come out with news and trade down 10% on the news. But I got to think that at some point that we bounce here. The back and forth about this piece of news, global demonstration tour to showcase the Iron Drone radar system. You can view this as a positive or a negative. Hey, they don't have orders. They're trying to go pimp out their product. That's generally a bad thing. Or on the other side, hey, they got a world-class product and they want to show it to people. And that should help long-term. So anyway, this is kind of, I have a buy rating on it for myself. I put my money where my mouth is. I bought more yesterday. I had to hold my nose and do it. I don't know necessarily when the next piece of news is coming out, although I am expecting positive news flow for the rest of 2025. So for me, it was a buy. I can't say for you what you should do with it.
With regard to, Momo names that we could, take a look at to see how, if, they'd be good shorts. I mean, we could take a look at the four big sectors that were moving at the end of last year. That would be the nuclear names, that would be the drone names, the quantum names, and the space names. Those are all Momo names that that we saw run. So if we've talked about a whole bunch of different ones, we know all the names. I would be looking at all those for shorts. And one in particular that looks like it could be interesting would be Redwire for a short. I mean, this thing has gone straight up. It's starting to lose some key support here. Just closed beneath the 20-day SMA. I got to think that this is, the space is going to be one of the themes that we start to see some coming in. This is what I've talked about. After we have this run, we want to see these pull back in, find a bottom, and then we can start trading these again, because I still believe space is going to be a big theme for 2025, especially with Musk in the year of the president. And with his Doge and the control over FAA. So could be a big year for space still, but I agree with folks that are concerned about these Momo names. I think they are going to come in. They've been, really extended. So space, drones, nuclear, all those things that we're running at the end of last year, those are going to be good areas to look for shorts.
Okay. Rustam, I can try to get, are those both penny stocks? Are you giving us both like 22 cent? Yeah. 36-cent stock. Look, we can get to those, but we're going to get to those a little bit later. We're going to keep breaking down some of these bigger stocks. It's nothing personal, man, but we really don't cover penny stocks here a whole lot. Okay. There was another thing that I wanted to cover here real quick. Carmen was mentioning here, Benzinga one-way attack drones have been exempted from the 8% cuts. So that's one part of it. She's referring to the Hegseth saying that he wants the Pentagon to cut 8% of his budget for the next 5 years, which again, long-term is definitely a good thing. Here's something else to consider about some of these drone plays. ONDS is one of them. Some of these have exposure outside of the United States as well, right? So it's not just the United States that they're waiting for. That actually completely eliminates the 8% cut that is being referenced here. And the showcase for this that is as it applies to ONDS specifically, they're going to show their product. It's the hope here, frankly. Part of the bull case here is that people outside of the government also go after some type of system like this. So we'll see what happens here with some of these cuts. I would imagine that they're just kind of the way warfare is going with drones, that drones would be one of the last things to get cut, if at all. That would make sense to me. So I guess we'll just see how this shakes out. But keep in mind, also looking for other international customers could be a pretty good thing. Okay, you guys are also mentioning that Palantir continues to see some pressure here. Oh my, yes, it does. Big volume candle for the pre-market too. Actually took out the 106. Look at this. We took out 106 to the downside. We took out the support level that was carved out in the after hours yesterday. Palantir, lower we go here today. Lower we go.
Well, market doing market things.
This is going to be fun.
Looks like 99. The 20-day SMA is going to be the level I'm going to be watching for. It's just beneath $100.
99.66. Now here's the thing. This is what we were covering earlier, 13, when we talked about, if I had mentioned earlier, hey, we'll see if Palantir actually plunges some more. So that 99.65, look what else that lines up with. Obviously the round 100 number, right? Yep. That one is in there for sure, but it also lines up with the low from the island impulse move that it made. Tell you what, I'd like to know what you think here, 13, but if we lose this area, and when I say area, I mean all three of these things, right? This 100, the 20, and this former support area. If we lose this, doesn't this look to you like this could really come down, gap fill down here to what, 84? We've got the 50-day moving average at 84 and change.
Isn't it interesting how the 20-day SMA is the start of the gap and the
it
SMA
is
the end of the gap?
As a matter of fact, it is pretty interesting. So I'm just saying, like, to me, I see a short trade here if this continues.
Yeah, really and I'm looking at the MACD as well, and it's really indicating that rollover could be coming here. Hasn't quite crossed, but we might get that after today. So Friday, we'll probably get a better idea if the MACD is going to cross or bounce off. Or rebound. So we'll see if that happens. But I'm going to be looking for those two levels in particular: the 20-day SMA and the 50 SMA. Oh, yep, we're open.
There's your bell. We
talking
are
too much
open.
Again.
Oh, by the way, Buznaldo, I haven't seen you today. I know that you've been here the last couple of days, and I know yesterday you were really shouting SMCI. We did cover it a few times, but I don't know how many times we actually went back to it. Big shout out to you, because SMCI's reversal off that pre-market pull area, one of the best trades of the day, obviously, until we had the big pull down at the end. But I wanted to mention that. That's why I actually left this stock up to remind me, because I've already forgotten once today. But Buznaldo, you were calling SMCI all day yesterday, all day from that morning dip. That ended up being a monster trade. So hope you did well on that if you're out there today. And that also just goes to show you that our chat is the place to be. You folks do a lot of the lifting here. We appreciate, when I say we, I mean Benzinga and 13 and myself. We all appreciate your participation here every single day. Okay, what are we looking at? What are we trading? Here's Walk. Let's see what this does.
Yep. That had a little bit of movement out of the gate here, but struggling to stay above my VWAP anyway. Saw that somebody was mentioning Tesla. Levels on that real quick that I can provide. Do like the 20-day SMA at 375 if we trade to the upside. Should we get a little bit weaker? 350 is going to be where I think support could possibly kick in. If not there, then maybe closer to 330 or 325.
Okay.
All right.
What Tesla does here with the pre-market low. Okay, as promised, really quick here, we'll flip around. As promised, Rustam, MHUA. This is going to be your 36-cent penny stock with no volume here. I'm not really sure what to take a look at here. This is something that I would stay away from. I mean, I guess it does look like it's curling up off the bottom. 9.5 million share float. Medical technology. Is this in China? I don't know where that is.
It's more PPE and other medical equipment as well. So,
okay, so maybe this moves with some of the bird flu stuff that we were talking about. I'll tell you what, it sure looks thin to me. On average, the stock trades just over 500,000 shares a day. It's not even traded 2,000 here today. So I'd be very, very careful with this one. Probably better for a swing than a day trade.
Yeah, if the medical supply, stocks become a theme, this could be one of them that we want to pay attention to. Sure.
Okay. Next here, I think he said SABs. This is SAB Biotherapeutics. This stock down 3% here. Another kind of a thin name. On average, only trades 100,000 shares. We didn't have any fresh news on this one, did we? Friday? No, we did not. And clinical stage biopharma company focused on the development and commercialization of a portfolio of products. So this is one that has all types of different headline risk or tailwinds. This is one you could wake up. It could be a 6 bid in the pre-market if they have a really good PR about one of their drugs. I don't have an angle on this one, though.
Seeing a mention on Rigetti, RGTI, that was pulling out of the open here. Currently getting some support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute, but if we continue lower, I'd be looking for better support closer to 1155, 1160. That's where the price of the stock was topping out yesterday. So I think that would be an interesting area to watch for if we continue to get weakness. We might get a little, short-term bounce off that area. And then, of course, you have the 200 EMA on the 5-minute at 1147. So that whole area right there, around 1150 to 1160, could be an interesting support area for RGTI if we end up getting down there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, this pre-market low that we already kind of bounced off of once in the regular session here. We're going to go test this right now. Rigetti.
Yep, lower.
There, yep, and breaking through. Now we'll see. 1160 was the what you just gave?
Yeah, 1150, 1160. There's multiple levels, in that range. The earliest being the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, which is at 1146, 1147. But I'm more interested in the previous. I'm sorry, the highs from yesterday. That's going to be between 1155 and 1160.
Yep. Gotcha. Good stuff there. Good morning, ex-sniper. Good to see you
Hello.
again, Rustam. What?
I was just saying hello to ex-sniper.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Rustam, good. Glad you're able to see that. We love you too. Voodoo, I am interested, but I want to grab some lower. Don't know what stock you were talking about. Sorry, man. I got mixed up there.
Ex-sniper is asking, anyone have a float on HMR? I don't see HMR as a company unless I
maybe got the ticker mixed up there. Wow. FTAI, a spike out of the gate. 158 prints we got on that. I'm just going to give another registering for all of you that traded FTAI after the short report.
Nice.
Well done. I mean, this was a huge winner, very much like GL, huge winner here. Just love to see that.
All right. So RGTI right down in that area now.
I'm gonna go through. I feel like let me just roll through a few of these here.
Down to the 200 EMA now.
Herbalife, possible breakout of 750.
Ooh,
here, if Rigetti's moving, let me just go to that. And actually, I'm going to leave this up for you here, right to that 1140. Okay, so are we bouncing here? Oh God, do we try this? Good Lord.
These are getting hammered. So if we are going to try a bounce here, make sure you have your stops in place.
Luis is asking, is this trading or investment for long term? We do a little bit of both here, depending on what we're talking about. Currently, for Rigetti, this is definitely kind of short term action here. So it looks like it just did try to. Okay, now we're breaking and going lower here. Wow, there was a lot of sales just flushing on the time and sales there. So they're trying to hold this here. It looks like from the time and sales, but man, this sure feels heavy. This feels like this might go lower here.
Yep, could definitely do that. I'm looking at Herbalife though, because that was a nice move up to 755. But then the volume kind of just goes away after that. BRTX not doing much right now. Walk that popped up to 550.
Yep.
So new highs. Broke pre-market highs. So that's the high of the regular session now. This one looks like it's trying to get going higher too. MACD's kind of
watch a 550 breakout here. I'm actually going to cue this up real quick.
Yeah, so
this is the most inopportune time to have to run to the washroom. I swear to God. I'm sorry, that's the first world problems, I guess. Here, watch this 550 area. There was size there earlier on walk.
Rigetti looking like it's trying to bounce.
Got VWAP 473 here on walk. I've got it at 468 here in trading view. I don't know.
It's a great point, Jonathan. That's why I'm not sticking around in this thing too long.
Yep. And I'm not, and you know what? A high of daybreak here, I wouldn't even be terribly, oh my God, producer, stop fighting me. Just do it. Just highlight Jonathan's comment so we can say we highlighted Jonathan's comment. Okay, I'll do it.
Oh man, what a great reversal in Rigetti. Well, at the moment it's a reversal. Let's see how high it can go. I see 1180 has a good amount of sellers.
Okay, so we did bounce off that level then.
Just a little bit beneath it, but yeah, more or less we had the buyer stepped in.
No, that's a good bounce off of it.
Yeah.
And there, as soon as I took it off the screen, God, I can't catch a break, guys. Stop making me change tickers so fast. Walk breaking right through that 550 here. 6 looks like it's going for 6. I got a high print there, 598 on walk.
Yep. Let's see here. Where does this thing go?
Okay. Well, you figured that out, BRB.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So 6 is an area we just got up to. That's got a lot of consolidation from last year back in October and November. So might bounce around or get, have some selling pressure as we approach, the consolidation. But if we get through it, there's not a whole lot of levels above that. 7 would obviously be the next one, but as soon as you get to 8, then you're running out of areas to draw on, because 845 is the all-time high in the stock, and then we're in blue sky territory. So that's something to definitely watch for here. We're looking for the next thing we want to see in walk is a break of 6. Looks like we're getting a lot of weakness here. So perfect. Thank you, Jonathan. Walk big seller at 6. Rigetti, that rebounded up to 1180. Now, what's interesting about that particular level is that was the support area in the pre-market, and now it's resistance. So rejection there, trading a little bit lower in Rigetti. Like I was saying, this could be a brief bounce down at that 200 EMA that or the 1150, 1160 area. So that might be about what we get for now. I don't know if it's going to continue to reverse or not. But if it does, we're going to want to see a recapture of that 1180 where it got rejected just recently. Let's see here. Kumo is mentioning that's Hasbro. Welcome back. That is up 11% today. This just had earnings before the open, and they had top and bottom beats, and they looks like I can't tell with versus consensus if this is better or worse, but it looks like it's better because the market's rewarding it. This is Hasbro I was talking about, HAS.
Okay, sorry, wasn't even.
No worries.
Wasn't even paying attention to that.
Line Analyst is talking about NT. I'll take a look at this one. NTR a couple days ago. If it starts to run going in earnings, so I'll look at NTR.
This Hasbro move is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. Also, the while you were gone, we were looking at Rigetti and how that got a rejection at 1180, came back down to the area we were just looking at as support. But I had mentioned that 1180 was the area we had in pre-market as support that we lost, and now it's being tested as resistance. So this this 1180 level that we're at right now, we need to get above that, or else I think we end up going lower. That's going to be the big resistance level today. At least in the first minutes of this open anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I got VWAP here at 1187. I think if this cannot get above VWAP, we probably roll back over here, RGTI. By the way, WALK stopped at that 598, came off that spot, back down here to 550, so we'll see if that sets up again. VWAP at 490. Would really like to see WALK pull to the VWAP. You actually might get a tradable setup there.
It's at my VWAP, but if it consolidates a little bit more at this area, we could see it break 6. And as Jonathan Cooper had mentioned, there was a big seller at 6.
Yeah, what was that? Something like 80K or something like that? What was that? Jonathan, you had mentioned that. I can't find the comment. 99K. There you go, Jonathan. I see it. 99K. Momo Names, notice the move in Affirm. Couldn't hold gains on the good news. This is what we were watching for here. This is what we were watching for. Affirm rolling over. So here, I think if it breaks 75, you might have some more room down on 75.
And look at Redwire. Was that not a good call or what? Down 9%.
Right out of the open too.
Yeah.
Out of the open. Yeah, so, that was sweet. Well done.
So
you know what? 13 registering.
So yeah, so it's just like we were saying. All these Momo names that we had, there's basically 4 categories, and I'd be paying attention to all of them, especially if you think that this market's overdone and you want to see some these Momo names start coming in. It's those four themes: the nuclear, drones, space, and quantum. all four of those, pay attention to if you want to look for shorts.
XOS, this is another one that we kind of took a look at here. This one, volatile, upside halt here exactly at $5. XOS.
Here we go with walk, breaking 6 or trying to.
I have 6 prints as the high. I don't have it above yet. Tons of size there.
Yep.
And they're hitting it, so it's real, but they don't have the strength to get over it yet. Okay, second time, not enough. We'll see if the third time is the charm there.
And as far as Redwire goes, I do like support as early as 1860, but I think the 50-day may be better, and that's currently at 1814.
Okay.
Yeah, BRTX not looking great right now. I don't know if that's going to even be a thing today. Herbalife popped up to 764, came back in. Now it's moving sideways.
There's your 6. They're hitting it. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of stock changing hands there at 6.
This is already starting off to be a fun day.
Yeah, it sure is. This is going to go higher here if this goes through it.
Absolutely, Jay Rice, Tem and Growl. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, those are more Momo names getting hit.
Yeah.
TEM, GRAL. Okay, that's a good call here. Still watching this through 6. I think this goes, folks.
Yeah, and I'm be curious to see if it does go, if it halts to the upside. I think it would have to be a good volume metric move though. And they keep bringing it in to hammer it down. Jeez.
They keep bringing it in, but you know what? They won't let. See how when they slam it back, they don't let it break down. Right? The buyers are still in on this. They're trying. They're trying to take this to 6.
Yeah, but the buyers look a lot weaker than the sellers right now.
I just think like you need a lot like that. Jonathan had mentioned that huge seller there at 6. Just we don't have the strength to take that out yet.
Yep, that was a great mention.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if this sets up right here.
Look at STAI. That's having a nice move this morning. This is Scantech AI Systems. This is one that we've traded previously.
Yeah, I just don't want to be fooled here like I was the last time because I think we're coming back on to 6 here from 575. Now, to your point here, especially, well, let me go to the 5-minute. We'll see what those wicks actually look like. Yep, wick and above here now. So, and now there's 3 consecutive 5-minute candles in a row. I really do think we want this push. They're not giving up on it. Here we go. Another move towards 6. If we can get above 592.
Yeah, I see that there's the sellers started stepping in at 590, trying to keep this suppressed. Now they brought another series of sellers in at 588. They're really trying to push this thing down.
They sure are. They don't want this to get above 6, which tells me if it does, it's going to pop and go.
Oh, yeah.
And you might be right about that halt too, 13.
Yep. Go Steve D is mentioning AMAT with a huge push. Any news on that one? If you want to keep walk on here, I'll take a look at that.
Yep. I want to see, I either want this to pull away strongly from 6 or I want this to go through 6.
So they Applied Materials unveiled a new chip defect review system yesterday. It looks like that news came after the market had closed. So I think we're seeing a little bit more to carry over into today. I don't know how much of this move is going to, it's going to run on it. But we did open and move over the 50-day SMA, but we have not been able to recapture the 20-day SMA yet.
Gosh, I thought that was going to crack right there, and it didn't.
It looks like it really could push up here.
I'm telling you, it's that 575 area. Here we go on 6 again. Come on.
Oh, man, they are really bringing in all kinds of...
They're trying, dude. They're trying so hard. Volume stick is not as high as I want to see in this window. When does this window end? Okay, it just started here, so we got some time.
Yeah.
Here we go. See, I tell you what, this 6 area, clear resistance. Let's see if we break above this.
Yeah, you would. Absolutely.
And there's the pull. That's through 575. Okay, so that 570, and they just took it right back. That 575 area. 575, 596. Those are the spots that I see here, especially based on the time and sales.
CA4 has been mentioning.
There we go. Okay, let's pull back. Okay. Walk pulling now. This is actually what I was hoping for. Now let's see if this sets up and gives us another trade on the way through it. Let me keep flipping through this. I had a question here about why the market is selling off. S&P pulling here. Entire market pulling. NASDAQ, Dow, S&P, IWM, everything pulling here. Let me see. Did we had a piece of news that came out? Nope.
Yes.
Goolsby is right now, right? Goolsby's on right now. What's he saying? Steve, was it Steve or I'm mixing up the names. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that. By the way, walk down here near the VWAP. We'll see if it holds the VWAP. That might set up again. Remind me.
SPY's trying to rebound.
Yeah, I'm trying to cite the comment. Damn it, 13. It's totally my own fault. Anyway, I can't find it. Whatever your YouTube handle was, I'm sorry that you were mentioning Goolsby and possible bullishness. I can't hear him. I don't see any comments from him. So let me know if you folks know what's going on there. Walk trying to hold the VWAP right there. HLF new highs. Walmart was diving. So, okay, so that Walmart, this is actually, I've got this at VWAP, Walmart. I've got this pretty much pinned right at VWAP here.
Let's see here. Herbalife new highs at 777.
XOS resumed, went higher, and is now struggling to get above the pre-market impulse high of 560.
Rigetti going even lower after getting some support from the area we talked about this morning. Got it on multiple times or multiple trades there, but now we are breaking down. We are headed to the, I would say the lows of the after hours trading. I think maybe 11 would probably be a good spot to look for some support. But you know, these are the Momo names unwinding. I think I wouldn't want to get in the way of these trades.
Meanwhile, market pulling here. Apple saying double bird. Our iPhone 16 SE owns you, and we're going to be just fine. So Apple really just sticking it to the rest of the market right here. Higher we go. Producer, you're also mentioning Microsoft doing the same thing. Remember, we talked about Microsoft earlier. If we look at the daily chart here, this 400 level, pretty interesting for a trade. Microsoft trying to curl up off that. Didn't quite get down there and test it, but got close. BBIO, who wanted to look at BBIO earlier? Saw this on the scanner here. I know this was gapping up earlier. See where we're at on the 5-minute here. Ah, look at that. 65 EMA on the 5, providing support here, some support here for BBIO. Let's see if we can get above 38.29 on a bounce here. Steve, sorry, really quickly. Steve, short and SPX, nice job on that one. Take the win. 77% is nothing to turn your nose up at. Sorry, 13, get in there, man.
No worries. Market Sniper was asking for levels on XOS. Next levels I like, should we continue to move up, are going to be 610 and 660. And what else do we have here?
We have Walk trying to firm at VWAP. All right, so I actually, this is 503. Yeah, so this did test it here. So I've got VWAP in my broker at 511, 503, 511 here. Walk trying to hold in here for a potential bounce. That target is still 6.
It looks like it's trying to rebound.
Yep. Now remember that 575 area on the way back up. We'll see. 550 has some stock traded there as well.
My VWAP is at 554.
Wild.
So trying to see if it's going to get back above there. I see that there's some sellers there at 554. Oh, they just brought in a bigger seller at 550. SPY is continuing to hasn't broken the low of the regular session yet, but we're close.
Yeah, and Russ asking about Tesla here. I got to imagine that Tesla's going to kind of move around with the market here. So to 13's point about the SPY pulling, NASDAQ also on the lows, actually new lows as we speak. Unsurprised to see Tesla doing the same thing. Boy, this 5-minute Tesla chart has nothing but red on it from the open. Volume, candles, the whole 9 yards. By the way, you got a nice 40-cent bounce there on walk off the VWAP, but hasn't cleared out any of those bounce levels to the upside. Again, 550, 575, 6, those levels on walk.
350 for Tesla. If that doesn't hold there, then I think it could end up going down to 325.
I think this is a magnet for 350. I think we're almost certainly going to get that here today. Breath, completely negative. All indices, SPY, Dow, Qs, Russ, Nice, everything red.
Okay,
More new lows.
Buy the dippers, get your wallets ready.
Or do they?
That's the big question, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, I'm not in buy the dip today here yet. There were a couple of times where I said verbatim that I would be doing that. Not today. Don't feel that way here today. We'll see if I end up getting punished. Also, regarding SPY, we talked about this at the outset when we were looking at the SPY chart here. Yesterday's intraday lows, good night.
Yep.
We are beneath them. Next here that we want to look at, this is going to be about 608.5. Let's call it 608.50, your next downside spot there. Seasonality coming into play. Thank you, Jay. We've been waiting for this. I shared this chart not long ago. And let me see if I can find that real quick, because Jay's spot on with this. And we talked about this and we looked like idiots for a little bit until we didn't.
Walk flirting with $5.
Yeah, that bounces over. I need walk to firm up. Otherwise, I'm good on that.
Rigetti didn't quite get to 11, but trying to turn around. Now it's a question of whether or not going to recapture the 1150 area that we were talking about earlier when we were getting support. So that could be a rejection area now. Walk under 5.
Why doesn't the search work? I can't find. Sorry, Jay. You're right about the seasonality. I don't have the chart handy. Stupid search isn't working. Walk sub 5. Martin says my wallet is out and ready to buy. Martin making no secret about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ivan. The USA just sold out to Russia, guys. I don't think that's exactly what happened, but
yeah, I was going to say, what are you?
Well, Trump's press interview on Tuesday from Mar-a-Lago he said a lot of really, concerning and frankly stupid things that weren't true, but we'll have to wait and see how this shakes out, because I think the concern now is that I mentioned this in the happy hour chat that we're seeing a lot of parallels to how the deal to pull out of Afghanistan was taking shape. So hopefully we don't get a similar result.
Okay, I'm unsure which comment specifically you're mentioning, but
whose comment?
It was the sold out comment. What got said that led to that?
So
he sold out to Russia. You had said he said a bunch of comments. He sounded like an idiot. I'm still unsure of exactly what it was that you were referring to.
So the whole thing that's been happening over this past week is negotiation to end the war in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Well, so far there's been talks, and the talks haven't really been into so much as how much. Ukraine hasn't been involved in the talks, but the talks that have been taking place in Saudi Arabia have been more to reestablish diplomatic ties with Russia. So I think that's one of the big concerns. All right, go ahead.
Didn't Zelensky opt not to go to that?
Well, because he wasn't invited to those particular talks. But yes, hustle and bustle exactly has it on point. Trump was blaming Ukraine for starting the war.
Yeah, I mean, I think Russia started the war, but Ukraine's not innocent in this. So,
okay, well, I don't see how that's.
I mean, Ukraine's been corrupt for a long time, and I think that I don't see how the starting the war comment puzzles me. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
that is a bit puzzling. By the way, Palantir here sub 100.
Oh, finally. Okay, so now we're into this this area between
Oh my
the
God,
20 and 50.
everything pulling.
You know what, Carmen? That's also okay, because I was going to also make another point about what Marco Rubio
Bitcoin.
was saying after the talks were had, and it seemed more like they were trying to undermine China and Xi Jinping, and I think that's and I think I know what you're talking about. It seems like they are trying to get Russia and Putin on the side of the USA so they could more enclose China and pressure them. But this is a very dicey situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Carmen, you're 100% correct on that too. That they did give up those the nukes for security guarantees, which they don't have very many security guarantees at this stage, right? Do they?
Nope.
All right, so
Especially if the money dries up.
walk much lower than 5 now, and this I'm trying to like skirt this as much as possible because it's starting to get into a situation where it's going to get very political, and I don't want to muddy
Yeah, no,
our
I'm
trading
with you
session
on
with
that. I'm totally with you on that.
XOS just blasted off and it's into a halt now. 620 is where it's halted at. And
I don't feel good about this XOS either. I still am kind of unsure on this one. Memory focus. Close the trouble. Good luck on XOS. I'll probably just stay away from that one. Walk also, by the way, this is actually firming at the pre-market low level. So we were saying we really want this to firm up before we get a trade here. It is starting to do that. It does have another level beneath it, though, 442 if this can't hold. And here we go. Now it looks like it might hunt that level. Okay.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I don't think that was very good for the market.
Market's still pulling here. 608.5 is where the SPY's at. S&P futures down 0.75% here. VIX here 1625. Bitcoin also getting hit. So Bitcoin at the lows. Bitcoin actually looks very much like the SPY chart at the moment. I would actually maybe stay away from some of these.
XOS ripping.
You feel good about that one?
I
was going to say I guess I'm off sides on this one.
No, I'm just letting you know it's moving, but I don't want to buy into this huge rip. It's could be another one of these things where I just wait for setups.
Yeah.
And so far, I'm not really seeing too many because a lot of things look like they could still continue with their bearishness.
Even FTAI, which is a huge winner, this is even down. What, 10 points? Yeah, 10 points from those highs. Yeah. So actually, market just lost 608 here.
And Mark Smith is also bringing up a good point too, because we just had Fed comments yesterday. Because they were mentioning how there's a increase in uncertainty. Market doesn't like uncertainty. So I think after digesting everything that some of these Fed members are saying, and we're getting some more news or some more comments out of Fed members today, it could exacerbate the downside. So yeah, this is something to absolutely be cautious about.
And something that we've absolutely been waiting for. Don't forget.
Yes, sir. Okay, so walk now down to the 65 EMA. This is also a support area, a pretty decent support area in the pre-market. So we'll see if we can turn around here, but this might be done.
Palantir 96. So for those of you, we're actually in that gap too that we talked about here. Wonder if this can actually fill that gap down. For all of you that were talking or trading the Palantir short, boom, boom. Good stuff there. C Spot saying short of the decade.
I don't know. I'm just gonna still pat my back on the EIX short of the decade.
That was pretty timely, and that was fast. That you won't talk about an elevator. Well, so is this Palantir one. I guess they were both pretty awesome.
And I know somebody was asking yesterday, and I don't think I got to it. If EIX is done selling off. And to me, if we can recapture and hold above 53, I think that would be a pretty good confirmation that we're starting to turn around. So 53 is going to be a big level to watch for closes over. In addition to that, you have the 20-day SMA that's just above that level. So we get a recap. If we recapture 53, I think we also recapture the 20-day SMA in the same day.
Did you guys hear that? Oh, my cat. He's a funny man. Let's see, I don't see, I'm trying to see if I see any other breaking news here on the Twitter streets. Tesla, by the way, lost that 350 level on Tesla. What was your next level down on Tesla post 350?
325.
Okay. So it's trying to hold that in here. I'm still looking for some more stuff.
And great call on XOS. This is why I didn't want to touch it. We are halted to the downside.
Okay, finally. So finally, we don't look like idiots. That one is that thing is ripping.
Yeah, lots of red on the screen today, folks. Yep. Looks like BBAI is trying to turn around. It just found support at the 680 level. If it does continue to push up, I'd be a little concerned or I'd be watching to see if it can get it back above 710. I have 715 as my next upside target.
Okay.
Yeah, walks.
Sorry, I was trying to see if there was anything else going on in the Twitter streets. Don't see it though. Okay, are we bouncing in the SPY yet?
Well, let's see.
Indeed, we are.
Right down to that same trend line that we bounced off of on Tuesday.
I was just about to say the same thing. What is the tool that they are using? Raheem, we are using Benzinga Pro. So Benzinga Pro, financial news media wire, complete with scanners and charting. The charting that you're seeing is from TradingView. So you're probably familiar with that if you've used that before. But the tool that we're using here for all of the different things, Benzinga Pro, which you can get. Let me know if you're interested. We can find you a discount.
Getting asked by Jay Harris, do you think Palantir is going to hit 80? If it's going to hit 80, I don't think it's going to be today. I think you've got a lot of room to go down to. You have support levels ahead of 80. I would be surprised if we hit 80 today.
Yeah, me too. I think before we even talk about 80s, let's talk about filling this gap down here to 84.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out where it goes from there. I'm not even sure if you fill that gap. You might get a bounce before that.
Looks like Rigetti's consolidating. That might be trying to turn around.
Let me put Rigetti up. I gotta look at something here for work. Sorry, one sec. RGTI.
They brought
I'll be right with you here. Just
okay. They also brought a large bid at 1120 for Rigetti, so that could be an area that it's going to see some support until either the sellers chew that up or like that they just chewed it up. So never mind. Looks like Herbalife trying to get some support from my VWAP that I have at 744. Well, that's the weakness in this market today. Unity rip on earnings. Speaking of getting them, yeah. So as far as Unity goes, looks like that 500-day SMA is once again coming into play apart. We haven't touched it today, but back in December, it was a big resistance area. Multiple days it tried to get over and close above it, could not do it. So this next attempt to move above the 500-day SMA, it's going to need to happen, or else we are coming. I think we wouldn't be able to come back to the 200 if we get rejected.
Which ticker was this?
Excuse me. This was Unity software U.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God.
Yep. It looks like Walk going to continue to break down. So
Yeah, I think Walk might be done. Yep. No firming there.
Great call by Jonathan on the seller at 6. That was what did it. Nothing but red candles since then.
Yep, and it couldn't break it.
And then Herbalife still hanging out up there, but it's slow moving. Remember, this has got a larger float than these other movers.
Smoke Tuna, and then we can talk about 90s music. Smoke Tuna, what was your favorite 90s music? Curious.
I mean, okay. Rage Against the Machine was pretty fun.
Yeah, Rage Against the Machine was pretty good. I was a Smashing Pumpkins fan for a while too.
1979 was a great song.
I liked Bullets with Butterfly Wings. So XOS, this actually did bounce again. I'm totally content staying away from that. Herbalife did take out 7 and held above 7. This actually might set up for another move higher, might it? Yep. Saber. Oh no, Sabs. That Rustam was asking about Sabs earlier. Okay, so that's not the same one. I was like, oh, Rustam, your stock's on the scanner now. Nope.
Different look at these folks with some great names: 9 Inch Nails, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden. I like it.
Pearl Jam. Oh, Pearl Jam. Of course.
Unity software. It looks like it's about to turn red.
Pantera. There's a blast from the past. Okay, I'm getting distracted with 90s music now. Whoever brought that up, shout out.
Market polling, 90s music.
Actually, market, I know we were talking about that. Market actually looks like it's trying, or SPY anyway, it looks like it's trying to recapture 608 here. They already bounced off this trend line one time. We'll see if we have the strength to do that again.
Well, if it continues to hammer it, I don't think it'll hold up. Ooh. We are breaking beneath the previous all-time high of 607.91. Beneath that, the next level I have is going to be the 20-day SMA at 605.30.
Whoever was asking about XNet earlier, looks like this just kind of fell out here. Don't really see anything going on this. Little bit of weakness. They did buy into this pullback. Actually, let's see what happens over the next few days here. You actually have the makings maybe of a head and shoulders there on XNet. Didn't see, just down 5.5%. Don't have anything fresh on this one. XOS, is that continuing to go? Nope, pulling again. So it tried. Okay, so it tried to bounce and got rejected. I think that's actually going to start forming a trend if it can't get above that. Now, how are we doing on some of those bigger names? Did we stop on Tesla? All right, so maybe, all right, looks like 350 might be your bottom there for Tesla. It might be a tradable spot here for Tesla. I know Apple and Microsoft were strong earlier relative to the market. Let's see where we're at now. Apple turned all the way around. Green to red move here on Apple, although slightly red. It's trying to hold there. Microsoft, same type of thing.
Yeah, I'm there with you too, Steve. I've been expecting this for a while, but
yeah.
we were talking about potentially topping out here when we started. We ended last week and started this week. We were thinking we could see new all-time highs, kind of a blow off top, and then we start coming in. Just we were thinking we were seeing that several times earlier last year, but this might be the one. We'll just have to see if we continue to get this breakdown. XLE, one of the few ETFs that are green. Music to my ears.
I don't know about you folks, but my Tim Melvin stocks are green. The Tim Melvin dividend players all green.
So does that maybe indicate there's a rotation in the value?
Yeah, maybe that some of these fundamentals or so these longer term plays are starting to become more attractive as the momentum angle dies down. That's that. You know what though, 13, I really think that none of this is going to be for sure until we get that Nvidia print. That's really, I think, going to be the big thing that's going to tell us where we're going. I think if Nvidia shows any type of strength and trades up, I think the buy the dippers are going to have all the confidence in the world. And conversely, if Nvidia really starts to shake a little bit, there's going to be even more uncertainty and nervousness than we're seeing right now.
I agree. Looks like Soundhound's trying to make a comeback. I would need to see 1085 get recaptured before I would even consider that. You know, Steve, it really did. And I even made a sarcastic comment about the volume. I was like, I'm getting so bored of this tape when it's trading like less than 30 million shares every day now. It's just like, where's all the volume? Where's all the movement? I can't, you know, I'd have to like, you know, take a longer term position because this moves so slow. I can't really get any momentum trades or too many momentum trades out of it. I mean, they're still there, but they're not as numerous as they were when we were getting these 100% runners.
Born to be free. What's going on, Born? Saw Soundgarden in a high school gym when I was stationed in Germany. The best conference I've ever seen was the Violent Femmes. Wow. Good to see you, awesome. Born. Welcome back.
I love hearing about these stories.
Yeah, me too. Take care of yourself, Lion.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty smart guy to be good for the day here on the momentum trades because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of that right now.
No, I am curious to see if the market does bounce here. I know SPY's trying, but
yeah, SPY is trying. Yep.
Here, I'll actually put that up on screen. Also, I know I asked earlier, but we've got more people now. You two, Ryan, in and out. It's all right, Born. We appreciate you. Crow, can you confirm? I heard from Paul Bissonnette yesterday that there will be, quote, an emergency in Canada, end quote, if they lose this game tonight. Can you confirm that? Let me know. Let me know what people are saying for tonight's match.
An emergency?
Yeah, like a national emergency.
If they lose the hockey game.
Correct. If Canada loses to the United States again, it will be a national emergency north of the border. I'm asking Crow to confirm it because that's what I was told.
First that, then tariffs. Yeah, I could see how it could be a national emergency.
No. Just to be clear, it sounds like at least from this group, they care a lot more about the hockey team than they do the tariffs.
Well, yeah, but once the hockey game's out of the way, then they're like, "Oh crap, we have to deal with this too."
Exactly. Oh,
America handing them 2 L's, you know.
Okay, Palantir stock. Are you bullish, bearish, or neutral? Here are your results. 38% of you said bullish. 34% of you said bearish. 27% of you said not sure. Boy, we got, I think, a quarter of these viewers here never really seem to take a position. That's okay, though. I love the split between the bullishness and the bearishness. That tells me, that sentiment tells me that if you were all bearish or you were all bullish, I'd be like, I don't know. But this split seems healthy, especially after the move that we've seen.
Man, I wish I had stuck with STAI. That one's been good this morning. I mentioned it earlier, around 9:40 or what was it? Yeah, 9:45.
Bounce. Is anyone trading this bounce here? And sorry, 13. I just totally ran you over.
No, it's okay. I'm done.
I was just wondering if anyone's trading this bounce here in SPY. We did reclaim 608. I've got the VWAP there at 609.5 on SPY.
Walk is cooking. Yeah, maybe with motor oil. What's I haven't seen it turn around yet. It's kind of just hanging out beneath the 65 EMA.
Izzy, I'm staying away from Amazon and Uber here today. I guess if we turn around, maybe we'll reassess that. But I'm not looking for those out of the gate here. I definitely want to see. I have no problem being a little bit defensive here today, to be quite honest with you. I'm definitely being less aggressive, especially after these last couple of weeks. Real quick here, Buzz Lightyear, boy, really raising the stakes here. Between the U.S. and Canada, loser either becomes a state or a province. Boy, those boys would be playing for something tonight if that was the case. Oh, Buzz Lightyear turning it to 11, like Spinal Tap there. That's incredible. Crow. You guys.
Geez, that went right over my head.
It's you guys are just this group. You guys never fail to put a smile on my face. Never. Oh, I love it. Okay.
They're asking. We got a question from N about APLD, Applied Digital.
This has actually been on a pretty good move.
Yeah. Why the jump?
It's only up 4.5% here today.
It's kind of been on a rally, kind of all month, pretty much ever since the month started. This is just been moving steadily up. Really started to take off on Valentine's Day. So this is the love bug stock.
The 4 level here was really the key, right? This is the one that we gapped above, triple tested on the downside, and then resolved higher from. APLD now double digits here, looking for a potential breakout here of 11 and change. What was that?
Yeah, I also rebounded off the 200-day SMA, and we are approaching. It's not all-time highs, but there's a very interesting. Let's see, what 1125 did you say?
I think 11 and change here. That might have been. I had 1124, but 1125. Yeah, you're right. Yep.
That's
1125 is it. That's actually it. If you measure the candle. Yep.
That's the level I'd be watching for too. We either get a rejection or a breakout from there. Seeing as how high the RSI is, it wouldn't surprise me if we reject initially, but maybe we see it break through later on.
Okay. Did all these movers really kind of slowed? I guess XOS is still going. STAI, that's still near the highs. Shout out to whoever mentioned this one here. We actually have a number of levels from STAI.
Me?
What?
Me? I mentioned it.
STAI earlier today. Someone from I know you mentioned all of the movers. Someone else in the chat. I just can't place the name. I'm really struggling remembering which chatter said what. I'm sorry about that. I try to do a better job of that. But someone had mentioned that they were trading this here, and 441 seems to be the next level. It's been done a really good job obeying some of these so far.
Wiss mentioning VS, that's Versus Systems, and then Sebastian mentioning AVPT, which is Alien versus Predator 2. I'm sorry, it's AvPoint. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alien versus Predator 2. VS here, we did have some news here today. Extends partnership with the Texas Rangers for the 2025 season. So VS Systems offers a suite of proprietary business-to-business software tools. They're meant to drive user through gamification and rewards. So do they have this set up at the baseball game? And I don't know, do you get rewards for guessing what happens in the game? I don't know how this works. Interesting, though. Nice little pop off to mention the Texas Rangers there. And did you want to do anything on this one on VS?
Well, I was just mentioning what folks are saying in the chat.
Okay. And then AVPT was the other one that Sebastian wanted to take a look at. Alien versus Predator 2. What happened here? I don't have anything fresh on here. Why the 6.5% pull on this one?
Yeah,
So
Pro. I saw that yen was doing really well today.
I think this one's probably just moving with tech, by the way, AVPT. Okay. What are you folks looking at here? STAI through that 441. Volume is continuing to expand here. This is what we want. Let me see if we got another level here, STAI. So maybe, do you have any 13?
Oh, let me see. Give me a moment and I'll tell you what I got. Huh. We just are pennies away. Well, we were pennies away from hitting the 65 EMA on the daily. That's at 472. So that's going to be one level I'd be watching for.
I got one. 462. That's your 1.618 fib level off this retracement right here on the daily. We tapped that and stopped at it dead on. Next level I have above that, 671.
And let's see, that's okay. So yeah, my broker looks a little bit different, but I'd say that 665 or 465 looks like a level as well, which is lines up pretty well with the 65 EMA on the daily. Now, there's a lot of consolidation that I see from that level upwards. So I don't know how much more we're going to get over that level, but if we do move over that, then looks like 730 looks like another level that we could mark off there. But I don't know that we'll get up there today. Okay. But if we do, that's what I'd be looking for.
Hey, take out that next one. We'll add it. We'll add them on the way up here. Hey, by the way, that AVPT looks like that might re-challenge the lows. Just careful if you're trading that one. I'm going to stay away from anything that's thin today for sure. I don't see anything. I'd actually rather trade some of the bigger names, and I don't necessarily think I trust any of the setups. Take a look at Tesla here. We had a nice bounce off that 350 level, but that might be done too. Looks like it got rejected here at the VWAP. This is also what we were looking at on SPY earlier when we were watching that SPY bounce. Look what happened. Rejected at the VWAP.
Yep. I was just taking a look at that before I was asked about STAI. It looked like it was kind of putting in a bear flag on the 5-minute. So if we get this resolution, we are going to be going lower than the low we've already put in.
CCJ reported earnings. They pulled back here and cannot get above the VWAP even after a positive earnings report. How's BABA doing today? Wow, BABA continuing to go higher here. Shares of U.S.-listed Chinese companies are trading higher after China's central bank vowed to take measures to support its real estate and shore up the economy that is crumbling. Additionally, Alibaba reported better than expected Q3 financial results. Boy, I tell you what, Saved by the Bell, that was a good time to report some good results.
Yeah, with China's debt to GDP ratio, I don't know how great I feel about that, especially when all the foreign direct investment has practically completely exited China. I don't feel great about that headline. Sure, it's going to make for some good trading, but I don't know how long that would last. I think that's just a problem waiting to happen.
By the way, folks, Hood, this is one that we took a look at here. I tried this for the floating island that just was straight up invalidated on this Tuesday, the synthetic Monday, if you will. Now, though, Hood has filled the gap on the way back down here. This actually might be a potential bounce spot here. $56, HOOD. FTAI 152, boy, the gift that just keeps on giving. This was at 158 earlier, so yeah, wow. FTAI, man. Really good stuff here from our group.
XOS is this has just been a great one this morning.
It just kept going. Okay, so I guess I should not have stayed away from this one. You think this is where most of the active traders are, given what we're seeing with the rest of the market here?
Oh gosh, I don't know. What's the volume like in this one today? That's quite a bit.
Gigantic, yeah. 39. I mean, yeah.
All right, let me see if I can. I think the levels I was asked for about this one, I think we blew through them already. So let me see if I can find some more. We might be coming up to another one actually. 860. I said somewhere between 860 and 863. That could be the next level we hit. Cooler looking surprisingly strong. Let's see what Cooler is doing. It's, I'll say this about Cooler right now. It's hanging in there. It's hanging above 2. It's been doing that for some time now. It's nice to see it be able to do that, but we need to see this thing start to move off the 2 level. Otherwise, we're going to fall through the 65 EMA on the daily and probably go down into the middle of like somewhere around 150. I'd be concerned about Cooler losing too.
This chart kind of looks like ONDS, doesn't it? Kind of.
ONDS not really holding up.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, look at the daily chart.
It's I see the similarities, but it looks like Cooler's holding up a little bit better than ONDS.
Yeah. This is the 2 level that you were just talking about. I would agree with you. Now, this, though, here's what I was saying earlier, by the way. You go to a weekly chart here on ONDS, we are very clearly at a weekly support. Very clearly at a weekly support. So we'll see. Maybe we do bounce there. Also, 500-day, you know what? That's the EMA. Excuse me.
XOS continuing to move. 782.
That's the trade of the day.
Yeah.
Right at the 100 on ONDS. I knew we were at one of those moving averages. Okay.
And the level I was mentioning earlier about XOS, we're getting pretty close to it. That range between 860 and 865.
XOS has traded 69,000% its relative volume.
Wild.
69,000%. Are all of the Chinese names holding up, or was it just Baba with that? Nope. Baidu, it looks like they all are. So they're all still holding past it. It wasn't just the earnings winner that did it. JD I saw on there. I saw Yin on there. So yeah, all of these still holding more positively. Or holding in positive territory, I should say. Excuse me. Got cooked on the walk. Well, I'll tell you what, your sense of humor is no worse for wear. Thank you, Christoph. Appreciate that. I think we were over 100 earlier today. Smoke Tuna says, they say AI does not get tired. The market today shows us that might be a lie. Smoke Tuna, I like that.
Yeah, why is it taking a nap? So SPY is still not coming in quite yet, but not really looking. The next resistance level I see here for SPY is going to be 609.75. That was a previous all-time high. We blew through it on the way down here this morning. Think that we're going to need to see a recapture of that if we're going to go higher. Otherwise, I think it could reverse there.
See, APLD I'm seeing mentioned on the Twitter streets. I don't see anything else great here. I think you folks are on most of the good trades here today.
Take care, hustle and bustle. Sell those
take
homes.
Care. Yeah, slower day, Izzy. 1 for 2 lost on walk also. You got cooked in the walk?
Here we go with XOS again.
Let me go to Billy here first. Yeah, Jay, it looks like all of those China names are holding here pretty steadily. So it's not just the earning winner. It's your XOS. Boy, I tell you what, Miss, you want to talk about... Did you start trading this yet? Or are you still just watching this one?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been in and out of it.
Yeah, I've just nothing here on XOS.
Uh, just kind of looking for some setups here. It looks like Siri wants to. I'm sorry, no, that's Sirius satellite. Uh, I picked up some at 25.
Yeah, so you did get filled at 25 on that. You were talking about that the other day. Okay,
That was
awesome.
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I got filled, so we'll see how that works out. Looks like, and I'm not saying we should try it now, but it looks like Walk is trying to turn around after hitting 340. Almost got cut in half there.
See, so I'm wondering then, I know we're talking about movers here, which might not necessarily be connected to the broader market at large here, but I'm almost wondering if we get some afternoon plays if things firm up here. SPY is doing its best to try and build above its VWAP now. NASDAQ doing the same thing. And so I wonder if the market just kind of had a tantrum out of the gate there. One of the reasons why I was playing it a little bit safe.
Crocodile Dummy is still saying you is climb.
Such a great name.
Climbing.
Such a great name.
I bet his trades are nice.
That's really good. 13. You're just outdoing yourself on a regular basis.
I do better when I'm not sick.
I bet you're excited. You get that after being sick too. You're like, oh my God, I'm tired of sitting around. Let me do something. Let me laugh. Let me have fun. Let me just something, anything.
Yeah. Getting a big pull here in XOS. Walk. It looks like this is trying to come back. Herbalife been sideways, but now beneath VWAP. Rigetti also sideways. Not sure if this is recovering yet or not, but it seems like it has a lot of resistance in the 1130s. What's my plan for Siri? So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar that Buffett is taking a stake in that, and I was like, I wonder why that is. So I started looking into it, and of course, he likes companies that have good free cash flow, and Siri does. But I don't know this for a fact, but I think there's going to be a very interesting angle for, and I mentioned this earlier, for the whole rollout of different companies, robo-taxis, not just Teslas, because there's going to be, I don't think people are going to necessarily be connecting their phones to robo-taxis for their in-car entertainment. I think it's going to be just, there's going to be already systems in there for people to choose from. And I think XM or Sirius XM radio is going to be the big player in robo-taxis. That's just what I'm gathering right now. I don't know this for a fact, but 25 looked like a good spot to start for me for Siri.
It bounced pretty good off that too, didn't it?
Yeah, it's so far it's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Palantir tried to retake 100, rolling over now.
Got a reversal candle. That's a good mention there. C-spot. We have a reversal candle here on XOS, so we could see some more downside here with this one.
C-spot having a good day.
Yeah,
those calls have been on. $6 on XOS possible pullback spot. That would line up with the VWAP and a previous low there. CNBC is running that thing in Miami, FI Priority, Fin Institute. Oracle CEO is talking at the moment.
STAI starting to pull now, so is SPY. So I think we might be starting to see the resolution of the bear flag in SPY.
SPY actually looks like it was rejected at the VWAP there, despite trying to get above it, could not build at all. Now we rehunt some of those lows. Nike with some relative strength here today. Nike holding higher. How's Intel doing? That's made a pretty huge move pretty quickly recently. The This, oh, you know what? This really not even getting hit that much. Only down 2.3% here today. Not terrible.
Yeah, Carmen, that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen here. So I'm trying to look into this some more, but it seems like there's been a decent amount of contract renewals with Tesla and Sirius. So I'm kind of led to believe that direction, but I still think we need some more time to see if that's what we end up getting. But I think it might be it might be the idea he's going with. So we'll see. Rigetti still holding sideways. MACD looks like it is indicating this could turn back up, but I don't know if it's going to be able to recapture the VWAP.
Goolsby comments you think are sinking this here? I think it's more just market there.
I mean, it's at the very least he could be exacerbating in one direction or the other. Well,
ET 2010. Hey Ryan, I want to subscribe to Benzinga Edge. Is it mainly news, stock picks, and analysis, but no charting? Am I correct? So this is a really good question, actually. Yes, you are correct. Here, really fast. Here we go. Boop. Here's an example of the Edge homepage. All right, so you can see that there's trading ideas that are updated quite often. There is tailorable news as well. And you can obviously link your portfolio to that as well. So yes, like you were saying here, stock picks, analysis, really no charting. The thought here with that, by the way, is that if you're looking for kind of like a more of an entry product here, and as you can see, there's tons of content that you actually get with this. If you are looking for a more entry level product here, it's reasonable to assume that you actually already have a broker, which you can do that charting in. So if you're trying to be as lightweight as possible, why would you actually pay for extra charting tools if you get those for free in your broker? But yes, stock trading ideas, stock of the day is going to be in here. More kind of, I don't want to call them passive, but more value stuff that you can add or that you can take advantage of that doesn't necessarily require you to be active like we are here today.
Great mention by I think it was Webcoin. Yes, App Squawk, APP. They have a short report by Bear Cave.
Oh wait, App Lovin'?
Yep,
McLovin?
And they're getting hammered.
Let's go.
So guess what? Time to see if we have a trade here.
You're damn right. That's exactly what I was thinking. You know what else I was thinking? It's really a shame that Lion Atlas left early, because he's been waiting for these short reports for a while, and here we go. McLovin, that's a joke, by the way. App, ticker APP. Watching App Lovin', Bear Cave issues report titled "Problems at App Lovin'." Oh, I was hoping there was going to be a McLovin joke in there. We'll just go ahead and give this to you. Anyone that wants to read the short report itself, there it is. Link is in the chat. Of course, if you have Benzinga Pro, you'll have access to it. Here it is.
Okay, XOS is halted to the upside. Now, it's halted right beneath that area I mentioned earlier, the 860 to 865 level where the 65 EMA on the weekly is. That I think if we unhalt, we're going to hit that, and we could probably end up selling a little bit harder after we touch that area. So something to watch for with XOS out of the halt.
896, right?
860 to 865.
You said it was the 65 EMA on the weekly. What did I do wrong?
I don't know. I mean, that just made the dip with my broker, because it has it at 866. And
okay. I thought I just had the numbers mixed up there. I thought you said 869 and it was 897. My bad.
No, it
went right to it though. I mean, it went right to it.
It's almost there. And the reason I'm saying 860 to 865 is because that's where it was trade in the range it was before we got, the price got up here. So it's lifting that EMA a little bit higher.
By the way, folks, Microsoft actually bucking the Trek trend. You can only just laugh at yourself when you do something like that. Microsoft breaking the tech trend here. Microsoft positive by 0.3% here today. Remember, they had the news there about their Majorana 1 quantum chip that was driving some of the smaller quantum names. But, NVIDIA, Google, I think Apple. Apple's actually hanging on to green, but it's about it unchanged. Anyway, Microsoft, one of the stronger tech names here today.
Well, beam me up, Scotty.
Rigetti calls getting bought down here at this level that it's holding 11.20.
Oh, Mike, when you say short the banks, I'm really liking that because I closed my Bank of America position on Friday. Still own JPM. That's probably going to be one I just hold on to and add. Man, they are getting. Well, they're only down about $10 today. But I think JPM is going to be just fine. So,
the only stock in the Dow trading down more than the two banks is Walmart. So Walmart, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, your three leaders to the downside in the Dow.
It looks like Herbalife is trying. It recaptured VWAP, so this could try and push up higher, but the volume's not great.
Okay, so for app here, I kind of want to finish this off. Let me actually go to a bigger chart. We'll do that here together. Let's see. Chart tool. Okay, so here's what we got on app. Now, you basically right back down to the base of the island here. And we're talking about a potential short trade here. Let me see what this looks like inside. I guess watch this here today. Stock is only down just shy of 9%, 8.75% here. I'd actually like to see this yank a little bit more. I'd love for this to have come in and filled this gap. That would have made me feel a little bit better about buying this. Let me know if anyone's taken the app long on the short report trade. Bless you.
Excuse me. Yep. Beast Pump Trading mentioning FAZ. That's the short ETF for financials. Having a good move,
but it's an easier way to play that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is just a. Well, I don't want to say just. It's a 20%. I'm sorry, 20-cent move that it's had today. So, and it's looks like it's a kind of overbought on the smaller time frame. So might see a little bit of a pull here pretty soon. So waiting for that unhalt of XOS. See if it pops over that 860s, 865 area.
I'm still watching the broader market here and some of the other components. So the SPY we talked about rolling over from the VWAP actually looks like some of the other names are doing the same thing. Here's Netflix. This actually looking like this might retry some of the lows. Goldman Sachs printing new lows as we speak. Tesla also kind of looks like this is going to roll over a little bit here. This went right back to the VWAP. So I'll tell you what, the inability to break the VWAP, we talked about that earlier. You guys talking about monitors. Is 10 good? I use 3 monitors on my main workstation and 1 spare one that I keep CNBC on.
CA4 AppLovin is a platform that helps developers create mobile apps. That's basically what it is. It's like the support and a platform for app developers. Gives them tools to do the job they need. Here we go. XOS popped over that level. Got as high as it got as high as 870. It did pull, but it's still trying to push up. I don't know that I'd be really holding any more of this. I'd want to see a little bit more weakness in this because man, this thing just is getting extended now. Let's see here. How extended? God, was this the best runner? 168%. Yeah, this is very extended. All the way up to the 500-day SMA. Push a little bit higher, looking for 9. This thing is just crazy extended right now. RSI on the daily is 92.
Is this for app?
This is for XOS.
Well, XOS.
Yep. Yesterday it was 47.
Oh, here we go on app, by the way. Now down over 9%. So I'd be really now if we break into this gap, I would be interested. And what I would do is strategy change from the FTAI. I would not take a short dated stab at this via options. I would look longer out, maybe even till March. Let me look at that. The March, and they are expensive.
You know, I don't know that AppLovin is anything like LegalZoom for app developers or Roblox. I think it's more like, think of the Unity software for app developers. You know what I mean? I think it's more along the lines of that. Somebody who's a little bit more knowledgeable in that space, you can tell me. But I think I don't think it's like LegalZoom or Roblox. I think it's more like Unity software.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I don't do any development with it though. Sean, take care of yourself. Logging off. Canada getting stopped tonight. That's Sean. Love it. Love it. I'm counting down the hours. Like I'm counting down the hours. Cannot wait. Market here really, really weak. SPY continuing to roll over here. Dow had no chill. It just kept going down, and it is still pounding lows. Signed in to do the poll in. I knew you. I knew I could count on you and Randy. I knew it. So I'm going to vote in that poll too, real quick.
Getty not able to, well, it's looking like it's not able to hold this consolidation. Careful with the RGTI. I don't see anything I like right now.
Neither do I. Neither do I. Did anyone want to sell me on Solana, by the way? This guy is saying market correction coming. This is something that we have been discussing quite a bit for a while. I've actually kind of been waiting for this for a while. Sure does feel like that, doesn't it? App, by the way, now down 10% as this is into the gap. Into the gap on app.
What are my thoughts on NEGG and NVIDIA news? So that is going to be Newegg, which is a large e-commerce platform where you can get computer parts. Think of it as the Amazon for nerds.
Mm-hmm. And I understand it's a penny stock, but this is a legit company. I've actually used this a lot in my life.
I think the move may have already happened. It might. Gosh, I don't know. Let me look at the balance sheet.
I don't know how much this news is really going to do anything for it. This is all, I mean, they're basically announcing that they're launching the 5700 series graphics card, the TI version. And they're going to include it in some of their gaming PCs. They do this every year with every iteration. To me, that's a non-issue.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
I would much rather hear 13's breakdown on the financials, frankly. I think that's going to play more into it.
Well, their balance sheet looks okay, but they're not profitable, despite having millions of dollars in sales. They're losing like 14 to 15 million every quarter from the last. Well, wait a minute. Why do I only have 2023? Hold on a second.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, well,
I have. If you go to annual, I have it for the half year through 2024.
In which case, they're still losing money. Like they haven't turned a profit.
It didn't change anything. Yeah,
It has. They haven't turned a profit since before 2022. So, and that was you gotta remember that's the whole time that they were being profitable over the pandemic is because everybody had money. They had stimulus. They wanted to be able to mine Bitcoin.
And the only thing they could do is connect with people via their computer. Yep. So it makes sense to upgrade their computer. Yep. Joe's asking, does anyone else having data issues with Schwab today? I have not. I haven't really done any fast trading on any of these fast movers though today. So maybe that's why I haven't run into it. All my data feeds look good. Yeah, everything looks all right on my end.
Here's another point that I could make about Newegg. We're already getting reports about a consumer weakening a little bit, right? So the graphics cards they're releasing, they're pricey, they're expensive.
Yeah,
So you might not see as robust of a sales figure off of those as you wouldn't expect. So I think, and there's another great point from Massor, why Newegg director keep offloading his shares. Now that I can look into, and it's probably just because he gets paid. Part of his compensation is in stock, and he's probably just selling that as he gets it. That could be it, but I haven't looked at it, so I don't know for a fact. But I think the important thing is that if the consumer is weakening, it might not mean a whole lot for Newegg if an expensive product like a graphics card is going to be facing weak consumerism.
Herbalife Pop, this actually might be going for the highs, ticker HLF.
Fantastic. That looks like it's going to, it looks like it's trying to push up to the 874, or I'm sorry, the 784 level, maybe even go higher. By the way, XOS, and I saw somebody had just mentioned that it halted down. That level I outlined, that was it for the time being. I don't know how much lower this goes, but you got VWAP at 650. Well, I have it at 658. So that could be a support area, but I don't think I'd be wanting to trade XOS anymore.
That one might be done.
That one might be done.
All right, folks.
Oh, wow. It's almost time already. Holy cow.
Almost.
That's crazy. We're having such a fun time that even though the market's bearish, we're having such a fun time talking about all these different things that I just forgot what time it was.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm good with that. I am good with that. Let's see where this market actually bottoms today. If it does, then maybe we can talk about some long side trades. But otherwise, I'm just going to let this one come in. By the way, poll results for the hockey game. 70% of you think the U.S. is going to take home the win tonight. 30% of you says Canada's going to do it. I'm just hoping for a good game. Kevin, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate all your tweets too. You and Day Trader really doing it. I appreciate both of you. Hood, we're getting mentioned here. Hans. So this is interesting, right? Hood, we talked about this being a potential floating island, got rejected hard, but we took the elevator right down to a support area here. Right here. So you're mentioning that this is holding the 21 EMA. A hold here, honestly, maybe we do get a potential move here in Hood.
And you know what, CF Forsman, I think, we could be seeing a correction coming, but if I think we're going to maybe even get a bubble burst if depending on how NVIDIA and SMCI go next week.
Mm-hmm.
That could be something to definitely watch for. Look at Walk now, just absolutely break down. What a awful move. And Jonathan, got a shout out to you for calling that top, and you, Ryan, for identifying that the upper shadows there that led us lower.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really great call all around.
And just in the inability to break it, like that top, there was a huge seller there that Jonathan had mentioned, and they hit him, but they just weren't strong enough. They could not get through it. This thing has just been nothing but weakness in sales since then. And you can actually confirm this by looking at the volume. There has been hardly any buying interest at all.
Yep.
After that rejection. Everyone was waiting for that level.
Yep. STI that did break. Yep. Well, it hit the 474, and looks like it's trying to come in now. VWAP's going to be the support level if it continues to go south. Looks like Rigetti did have a little bit of a capitulation event here. It caused buyers to step in as soon as it went under 11. Don't know if it's going to continue to go sideways from here, but just a little interesting tidbit of information there. XOS open and getting some support, but I don't like the way the MACD looks. I don't know if we're going to rip back into the 9 handle, but I think this one starts to come in. That'd be my guess. Herbalife almost back up to the session high.
HLF?
Yes, sir.
All right, SPY SPY, watch the high here on Herbalife if that gets taken out. Also, there was a huge volume candle there. Now the SPY trying to bounce from the same area. I tell you what, if we have an intraday double bottom down here, I think maybe we can trade against that level.
Jonathan Cooper, my thought would be that they didn't try to walk it up because he probably had such a large position that he was trying, and the buyers were really thin especially at the 6 level, that walking it up might not have provided the liquidity he needed to unwind his position. That would be my guess. It could be more than just that, but clearly that seller did not want to be in walk anymore, and I don't think it's hard to see why. We've absolutely, this thing has absolutely just given everything back.
I wonder how many of those insiders just rang the register on it today.
Yeah, right.
Oh, day trader, it's okay, man. And anytime we go 24/7 here. That's the crypto in me. App, by the way, continuing lowered, minus 11%.
There, you know what, Ed? That you're right. There is a lot of expensive crap everywhere. I think the best thing to do is just to look around for the really undervalued, really beaten up names that are still good companies, maybe even ones that pay a dividend, that are attractive now, because we're going to start to see. Maybe we are starting to see some of that sector rotation going into the growth that's been lifting up all these growth names, and frankly some of the speculative names from last year. Starting to see a little bit of an unwind from that. Maybe we start to see it go into the value stocks. Names that have good free cash flow, that pay a dividend, that are real companies. So there's going to be some homework that we have to do in order to find those, but they're out there and they can be attractive.
There's going to be less homework that we actually have to do, because we have a guest that comes on here weekly and gives us gems. In fact, I'm looking at my slip right here. All of the dividend Melvin stocks that I've added to my. Okay, sorry. TFSL is down slightly here today. It's down 1.3%. I apologize. They're not all green.
HLF.
That's it. Those value stocks seem to be holding in here. And by the way, speaking of holding in here, sorry, 13, one more thing I wanted to get out of the way before I forget. NVIDIA, we talked about how important this earnings print is going to be here next week. NVIDIA, given what we're seeing in the market here, NVIDIA is holding up kind of all right. Market's down here 1%. NVIDIA's down 1.4%. It doesn't look nearly as bad as the SPY. Just my 2 cents on that. All right, 13, you got any closing remarks here for the group? We are out of time. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. Yeah. Sorry I wasn't active again, but this is just kind of a wait out period for me. I'll get back at it when we see the setups.
Well, as far as all I've got to say is just make sure you protect yourselves if you're going to be trading any of these stocks today that look pretty much bearish across the board. Make sure you have your stops tight. I wouldn't be stepping in anything that comes with a high risk. Just be careful, folks. Maybe even sit on your hands. Go outside, touch grass. Do anything you can to not get yourself caught into positions that are going to just kill your account. It seems like it could be one of those days. Just be careful.
Capital preservation seems to be the theme of the day. Absolutely.
And you know what? If you do that, then we'll be able to come back here tomorrow and we'll have more things to trade. So I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Don't get yourself caught in any losers.
All right. Really good stuff, 13. Really good stuff here today. We'll see you tomorrow to close out the week. All right, folks, that is all the time here for today. You guys did a great job yet again. Looks like we might have some exciting times in the market here, especially if things change. As we're signing off here, quick look around. S&P futures down just under 1% here. They are trying to bounce off 607, so we'll see. Enjoy the U.S.-Canada game tonight. Just hoping for a good game. Stay green.